What do y'all think about this theory that's floating around that some of these labels are collecting life insurance on their artists?
It's disgusting. There's no two ways about it. If the person's family is not going to be the beneficiary, it's disgusting to me.
But the family could take out a policy too.
I know. So cool, that's my family being the beneficiary of my demise. The label is encouraging people to make a certain type of music.
Mm-hmm.
And that certain type of music comes with a certain type of lifestyle or potential adversity. Even if you gave my family 20% of what you making, you still eating the other 80.
What's your opinion?
I don't care if another project is never released through your distributors.
Mm-hmm.
No, my family will be rest in peace Triple X. We'll do it that way.
Tears rolling down my eyes. I just seen an angel fly. If you hear me shine your light, your light, your light. If you hear me shine your light, your light, your light.
Tears rolling down my eyes. Can't tell you how many times I cried. Can't tell you how many times I cried. No, I don't know if I'm the same without you. Ain't the same. Remember the days we smoked big blunts together. Remember the days we rocked that cold jello. Remember the days we have our shit together. On the north side times were hard, but them days was better.
It's kind of crazy how one man comes in the picture.
I wish I had a time machine, just so you can take a ride with me.
It's kind of crazy how the one man in the picture just has all sorts of bodies keep turning up all over.
I wish I had a time machine, yes sir, so you can take a ride with me.
It was kind of crazy to even see
wrap my arms around you.
How this particular body started to come up around you.
Up in the stars, up in the universe.
But when we got down to it,
when I see you in heaven, I'ma be with my dog.
this rabbit hole got a little bit deeper than what we thought it was gonna be.
Up in the universe is bigger than Mars. I see you in heaven.
It's an evil game out here,
man. See you in heaven, I'ma be with my dog. I don't know if I'm the same without you. Ain't the same. It ain't no gang without you. It ain't no gang. Nah. Birthdays ain't the same without you. No. Christmas ain't the same without you. I wouldn't have got it out the mud without you. It's hard to see mama love without you. Mama. It's hard to see mama love without you.
Welcome everybody. Welcome. Live from the Spot Podcast. I'm your host, Chill Murray. Tonight we are doing a special Live from the Spot Podcast. We were going to start this week with the ghost of Bad Boy, but there was a particular ghost that popped up around this bad boy. And I didn't really put two and two together until recently. And it just so happens to be a month and change after this gentleman's passing. A year and a month and a half after this gentleman's passing, I should say. So, as you guys remember, Takeoff passed away of the Migos. Takeoff of the Migos passed away last year, 2022 in November. He was fatally killed at a bowling alley. And it was a huge shock to the world. and it's still a heavy grievance on a lot of people's hearts. It's still a heavy one to weigh on the hip hop industry because Takeoff was such a cool guy. He never really bothered anybody. He was the quieter one of the Migos, if you will. He was the less spoken, but in hindsight was actually the most charismatic of the three. We didn't come to find that out until, unfortunately, the man was gone. As you heard in the intro, something started to click to me around the time that Takeoff had passed. But before that, I remember seeing the hotel video, and I had gotten that eerie feeling again. I got that weird, eerie feeling when I saw the hotel video with Quavo and Takeoff. But before we get there, because I just want to preface this with saying, we gonna be here a minute. Okay? We gonna be here a minute because we gotta break some things down. First thing we need to discuss is, of course, the breakup of the Migos and why that happened in the first place. The real reason it happened in the first place. We're going to discuss that. And before we get into that, I would like to play something for you guys to go along with the intro. Because, see, a lot of people don't know about label industry politics as far as the insurance goes, right? But do not take my word for it, as I always say. Do not take my word for it.
Continued in 2022. According to French Montana, the rising death toll has prompted record labels to take out life insurance policies on their artists. Speaking to the Off the Record podcast, French Montana speculated that the labels were anticipating a big payday if their artist gets murdered.
And we was beefing for real, like people was like dying and this and that, and it was just like it was blocking a lot of money. People don't want to touch you. You know what I'm saying? You know, your rap friends, somebody gets shot, your rap friends stop picking up, the label stop picking up. Nah, it gets crazy. You know what I'm saying? It gets crazy. But now it's even crazier because they getting life insurance on artists. At least back then we didn't have that.
Somebody told me that shit.
Yeah.
Is a label signing an artist in good faith if you're taking a life insurance out on him?
No, you praying on his death. You praying on making millions on his death.
Or are they being realistic though?
Both. They're being realistic. And they, you know, you're supposed to have life, you know what I'm saying, life insurance anyway. But when the label does it, if you don't have one, that's crazy.
At least 20 notable rappers were fatally shot in 2021. Some hometown heroes, others nationally celebrated artists. Young Dolph was gunned down in his hometown of Memphis last November as he went to pick up baked goods for his mother at Makita's Homemade Cookies. Draco the Ruler was stabbed to death backstage at the Once Upon a Time in LA Music Festival right before Christmas, while YG affiliate Slim 400 was shot and killed in Los Angeles just days prior. Other high-profile murders in hip-hop include Nipsey Hussle, who was shot and killed outside of his clothing store in 2019. So after witnessing the deaths of all of these various rappers, what do you think about French Montana's statements on labels taking out life insurance policies on their artists? And do you think it would be moral or fair that the label gets a payday if their artist dies? Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Also, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell.
So, you heard it. And this isn't something that recently started either. No. This isn't something that newly started. French Montana basically just let it be known that this was something that was going on recently. But the record labels had already started taking out insurance policies on artists Since the beginning of music, damn near, I don't think people understand that. A la Michael Jackson. Okay? The list goes on of how many people Juice WRLD. I was just talking to my son about this. Juice WRLD. Juice WRLD was an insurance claim. How was Juice WRLD an insurance claim? The Sting lawsuit. He owed millions of dollars from the Sting lawsuit for Lucid Dreams. We talked about that on the podcast. He died way before he was able to pay that back. But guess who had to pay it back? The label. So, again, this isn't something that is brand new. And I would like to share with you guys also something else.
Today's video is brought to you by Babbel.
This is from...
Now, as someone who basically...
This gentleman did a documentary based on... I want everyone to look up this, the music industry's darkest secret. I would like everyone to fully watch it. We are not going to watch it here. But I would like for everyone, when they get a chance, to fully watch this documentary. For the simple fact that it will tell you a lot about the music industry. But there is a particular part that I would like for us to focus on today.
saw in their own lifetime. As if the financial incentives weren't already way too far in the wrong direction, this actually gets a hell of a lot worse. Because there's a clause in record contracts that allows record labels to cash in even more after an artist's passing. This has been going on since the early days of the music industry, and it's quite literally a standard practice. It's called the death clause, or the non-performance clause. Now, this is one of those lesser-known details in regards to record contracts, but the former manager of the Grateful Dead, Hank Harrison, wrote about this some years back. Essentially, it goes something like this. Companies shall have the right to secure insurance equivalent to 10 times the estimated value of the artist's earnings from any source of revenue for company's sole benefit. Companies shall be allowed to employ any insurance carrier or combination of the same to assure this benefit and need not consult or require signature compliance from the artist. Companies shall keep such information confidential, except that the company may disclose information to the applicable insurance carriers or as required by law. Artist or artist's estate shall have no right to review or claim the benefit of any such policy obtained by the company. And to quote what Hank Harrison later wrote in this article, he states, "In short, here is what a death clause does in my humble opinion. If an artist fails to perform or pay back advances, the artist becomes more profitable dead. Today, the hit clause still exists, but it is more subtle, and whereas it used to be worth thousands, it's now potentially worth billions. Labels invest millions in new talent, and the insurance policy is a protection against loss or a way of collecting projected profits for music, t-shirts, books, foreign rights, and everything else in all forms." Now, I want to clarify one thing here about the death clause. And it's that this type of life insurance, also known as key man insurance, is actually a standard practice in other industries as well. And depending on how you look at this, it's honestly just a smart business move given how much money they invested into them in the first place. But normally when an employee dies in other industries, there is a pretty significant loss of revenue. And this insurance is designed to make it so the company can stay afloat until they find a replacement. But in the music industry, this is just them double dipping. Now, in case you're unfamiliar, record deals are structured like a loan, also known as an advance. A certain amount the artist gets to keep for living expenses, and the rest will usually get poured into the cost of making an album as well as marketing it. While the specifics will vary from deal to deal, the premise is pretty much the same across the board. Only after the label is paid back in full will the artist receive any royalties on the music recorded during that time.
All right, so, and we know that part already. Right? The labels have to eventually recoup off what you've already done. So, or should I say recoup off what you possibly were supposed to make for us back. So there has to be some type of return on investment. And as you just heard, the life insurance policies that they've been putting on these artists is basically their win-win. If you guys sell, we make money. If you don't, we kill you and we make money. Or we don't kill you, but you somehow allegedly pass away and we still make money off of you. That is the record business right now. Or should I say that is the record business and that has always been. So, with that, I would like to read something else from that documentary called The Prince Effect. This comes from MarketWatch.com. The Prince Effect, here's exactly how much record sales boom when a rock star dies. So, they called it the Prince Effect because, of course, when Prince, a la Michael Jackson, certain celebrities, certain musicians die, their record sales go up. John Lennon once dominated the Christmas music charts like almost nobody before or since. The former Beatle had 3 songs on the airwaves and topped the charts all around the world for over 2 months. Just like Starting Over, Woman, and the iconic Imagine, plus credit for Roxy Music cover of his song Jealous Guy, which also was a monster seller. The reason it was Christmas 1980, and Lennon had just been shot to death. Worldwide shock at the killing, famously announced on TV by sportscaster Howard Cosell, transformed sales of Lennon's music. Prior to his murder, Lennon had been out of the business for half a decade. His comeback album had just been released to little fanfare and mixed reviews. Lennon's may be an outlier among celebrity or music star deaths. But a similar pattern has shown since with the deaths of others, from Amy Winehouse to Michael Jackson, Prince, as well as David Bowie. The Prince Effect shows a chart here of 16,000% increase. Tom Petty had a 6,800% increase. Chris Cornell had a 550% increase. A famous artist dies suddenly. In some cases, they've been out of the limelight for a while. Suddenly, everyone wants their music. Sales rocket. Now, researchers have put some numbers on the phenomenon, and the intuition is true. Death, frankly, can be a good career move, they say. Prince album sales surged 16,000% the day after his 2016 death, and Tom Petty's jumped 6,800% in his 2017 death. Report Stan Renard Richard Gretz, a music professor and a marketing professor at the University of Texas at San Antonio, Soundgarden frontman Chris Cornell saw a 550% sales surge in the week following his death. They found their paper, Music, Death, and Profits Variables Contributing to the Surge in Sales After an Artist's Death, appears in the Journal of Music and Entertainment Industry Educators Association. More remarkably, the bump in sales after death isn't just short-lived, they found. The rate of sales does not return to pre-death sales, but, get this, it doesn't return to pre-death sales levels, but instead is in the most instances persistently higher, even several years after the death shock occurs. Remember that 7-year theory with Pac as well. They looked at 81 major artists, including George Michael, Fats Domino, Glenn Campbell, Al Jarreau, Glenn Frey, as well as Prince, Petty, and Bowie, who also died between 2015 and 2017. Album sales leaped a staggering 226% on average on the day those artists had died. So, they doubted overall for the first 100 days, but even a year later, the daily sales were up 15,000% from where they were before the artist died. Overall, there were a 23% sales bump over the first year. Results tail off after that. But the effect still persists. Sales may still be higher 2 years later, they found. This is the first study of its kind to show long-term effects of artist deaths on music consumption from the individual album as well as the album portfolio perspectives. So, they add this here as well. Album sales that follow an artist's death do not tend to revert to pre-death sales levels. Instead, they show the persistent, significant increase in sales even beyond a year post-death. So, let's think about something like royalty exchange, right? That was the ending part of that right there. You think about the label royalty exchange. If you were to buy someone's royalties right now, and they suddenly pass away, expect to see a major increase in those royalties that you paid for. Unfortunately. But that is how this goes. Now, real quick, I want to share with you guys the so we're going to start from 2018. We're going to start from 2018. Reason why we're going to start from 2018 is because we're going to start from the Migos album Culture 2. So, as you guys remember, the Culture 2 damn near didn't happen, right? The Culture 2 damn near didn't happen because, again, there were behind the scenes label discrepancies among the group. Now, it wasn't necessarily among them three, but it was rumors, quote unquote, that they were very unhappy with what was going on within their label. And they hadn't been saying anything. Culture 2 damn near didn't even come out. Remember how long it took for them to even put Culture 2 together? We just saw a bunch of Quavo features everywhere. And some Takeoff shit. And then Offset had his mixtape. He started his solo career. Notice that. Offset had started his solo career a little bit around that time, or prior to, I should say. Because he had the success of Ric Flair. Just to back up what I'm saying here. (2017). Ric Flair dropped in 2017. That was when Offset did the joint with 21 Savage, right? Are we following? Okay, so Offset had started to make his distance away from things after Ric Flair drip. Quavo's running around doing feature after feature after feature. He's dropping his solo album. Takeoff, of course, is just there, right? Are we following? Eventually, we get Culture 2 album. Now, also around the Culture 2 album, let's also think about this, right? The Culture 2 album around that time, also around 2017, I should say, before Culture 2. Around 2017, we started to see the emergence of the relationship also of Offset and Cardi B. Did we not? Toward the end of 2017, we had the rumors of Cardi B and Offset starting to emerge. So, in January, we got Culture 2. Now, I would like to analyze something about the Culture 2 album cover. Because those things that we're going to analyze right now are going to be very telling in the rest of this particular podcast here. If you notice, there are two doves. Right? Two doves with the number 2 over whose head? Quavo's. Now, One dove is over Offset. The other dove is over Takeoff. Offset is in a shush pose, as in keep quiet, right? With a dove over him. With red oval glasses. I want you to notice that as well. He has red oval glasses. That's going to be very telling in what I'm going to say and what we're going to go over next. Red. Okay? There's another dove over Takeoff. Over Takeoff, Takeoff has a pose of offering. Notice, with his hands out. Now, if we pan to the middle, we see two pillars over Quavo. Now, if we're going to really think about something here, wasn't this cover very telling for the future of the three of them? Starting with the first dove. If we're starting with the first dove to the left, January, right? In January, we received Culture 2, I believe. We received Culture 2 in January. So, what happens about 5 months later? About 5 months later, Offset gets into a car accident. In 2018, the same exact year. May of 2018, Offset is in a heavy, life-risking car wreck. And with some people had the theory that he died. Some people even had the strongest theory that he died and came back as a clone. Now, let's analyze that theory just a bit. I'm not going to say a clone, but one has, thoughts when they watch the actual video that he dropped about that car crash.
Offset is finally speaking out about his crazy car accident. You can see that his green Dodge Challenger is totally crunched from the front and back. The Offset is lucky to be alive.
Now, let's run this back a little bit, right? Because I want you to all, pay attention to certain things that's going on in this video.
Offset is finally speaking out about his crazy car accident. You can see that his green Dodge Challenger is totally crunched from the front and back. The Offset is lucky to be alive.
As a man,
Now, in the very beginning of the video, you hear them talking and describing the news reports of the car crash as he's sitting in a room with candles around him. Notice it's a very red room with writing on the side. Very, I guess you could say, Hebraic or satanic writing, as some would say, on the side. We'll just call it what it is. Satanic writing on the side. Now, let's listen in on what else is being said at the beginning of this video.
choice. I almost failed the test, but I gotta separate myself and keep myself.
Notice how the chopped and screwed comes in. As if the devil is talking now. Notice how the camera also pans to him being upside down. As if he's saying he had to be outside of himself. Interesting. Let's listen back again.
As a man, you have a choice. I almost failed the test, but I gotta separate myself and keep myself.
I had to, in hindsight, basically, I almost failed the test, but I had to watch myself. And that was symbolically saying he was watching himself outside of himself. In I guess you could say, a self-reflection. Now, if we're talking about self-reflection and a play on words of, I guess you could say, duality, if we're looking at it through the duality in what Offset is actually saying, Offset is possibly saying that he lost himself in that car crash, isn't he?
I'm a maniac, go crazy for the cash. Green Lamborghini, paper tags. Riding through the city, 30 mags. Niggas snitching, they the police with no badge.
Now, notice he's also still playing off of the fact that he's in this room. If we continue to go through this video, we're going to notice that this video is shot in pieces of his mental state.
How I grew up, my mama with my dad. So when I blew up, I put her in the pad. I like to throw it when I think about the crash. Like hell, when I hit the tree, I smell the gas. Looking at the sky, think about my past. When I used to kick a door, shoot you for the cash.
Looking at the sky, thinking of my past. So obviously, he really did think he died in that car crash.
Body hit the floor before you make me mad. Devil had a nigga soul living too fast. Praying to the Lord, my soul to keep control of me, take a hold of me. Bitches ain't shit, got exposed by E. So naive, cold in the street, sleep on my feet, money turn home.
He basically said a prayer to God because he knew that he was dying.
To zombie they eat. Miss my grandma, she was humble and sweet.
Notice here. Who's standing in front of the altar? Basically giving himself to God. With what's this coming in through the window? Grace.
I don't speak, let the chick talk for me. I can't sleep, that's the tick in my reach. Hit the dope, make me weed. Sip the dope, have the pain at ease. Trying to get the money for a clean, it was dirty. Playing football, hide the fire in my girdle. Getting locked up, running around in a circle. Brother caught 15 like he did a murder. Now my whole family hurting, trying to see the light.
The broken window. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to this. What do they say about broken windows in the 7 years of bad luck? It is now what, 2023? We still got 2 more years of that bad luck, don't we?
But we couldn't pull the curtain. Nighttime lurking. Mama said the street lights, but they start working. Looking at my mama in the eye. Mama looking at me like a new person. She telling me I need to slow down. The pain don't go away.
Now, a lot of people are going to say that was Offset saying that he was locked away as a teen. This is actually Offset showing himself being locked away. If you notice, he has the American flag on him. He's trying to say that he's actually just locked away, period. Which might even raise eye on the theory of what people are saying as far as, is that the real Offset on the surface?
New person. She telling me I need to slow down. The pain don't go away with the perky. That was when the rap wasn't working. Living in the trap is a circus. See my grandma in a hearse. And Pistol P gone in the casket. Shots fired, nigga blasting. Cops, they'll rush, start smashing. Ops, we shoot shots like the Mavericks. Fox, put the cash up and we stash it. We flop, we doing numbers, can't imagine. Money tunnel in the roof panoramic.
Now, I just want to fast forward real quick to the end of this video. As you notice, this is right after the car crash again. But it's coming up right here.
FaceTime round 3, Mike in the puddle.
Notice it passes the flowers again.
How I'm supposed to take it? Niggas dying around the same time I had a baby. Here go the operator. Let the game know pistol ain't gon' make it. Now my mind going brazen. Got me feeling like I was the cause of the hatred. I'm the cause of it. Holding the revolver with the laser. They didn't kill my nigga, start the war, bring the nation.
Now, don't pay attention to the lyrics. You know what? Let's do this. Because I want you guys to pay attention more so on the scene here. Notice he gets up from the car crash. But who does he pass? A gentleman sitting with a harmonica, representing the Grim Reaper. So, in a sense, Offset is displaying that he died in that car crash. He basically let us know, in hindsight, that he in fact passed away in the car crash. Or should I say, they would like him to be passed away in the car crash. So, if we're going to really think about that, right? How would we actually say, okay, the same way people were saying, oh, that's a Gucci clone up there. See how Gucci's just acting nice and wholesome and family man and all this thing. But I want y'all to think about how the fact that Offset all of a sudden became a family man after this car crash. I want y'all to also think about the fact that Offset basically damn near completely separated from the Migos after this car crash. I want y'all to also think about all the breakups that started happening with Cardi after this car crash. Are we following? There was a lot of strange individual behavior on the part of Offset following this car crash. But let's go to the other side of this coin, okay? For 2018. So later on down the line, so matter of fact, real quick, before we even get into that part, how the Migos got to their label before their company was actually sold away. How the Migos actually got the Motown was it went from, I believe, we're going to get into the lawsuit right now, actually. So, the Migos went from label to label to label to label until they ended up on Motown, basically. And when they got to Motown, they started to inhabit a little bit more, I guess you could say, they started to get more people around them. If you notice, that was around the time that we also saw the emergence of Lil Baby. What was it, 2019, I believe, or 2020? We saw the emergence of Lil Baby. We also had Sweetie come into the picture. We had the City Girls come into the picture. Now, with these artists coming into the picture, the Migos start to slowly fall to the back because there's new priorities on the label. Are we following? Okay? So let's fast forward just a little bit to 2019 at the Revolt Summit. Now, we're going to look at the Revolt Summit for a second because there's a certain person that starts to come into the picture here. Okay. So, let's look at QC real quick. I want to show you guys QC. So, this is all the money that he had made with, as you can see with its title, Diddy and QC CEO. That's the actual title from YouTube, actually. Show off the money that they had made in 2019 at the Revolt Summit. Now, that kind of brought awareness to me, because I'm saying to myself, why would he be showing off all that money he made? And then there was a picture that he had posted on Instagram saying, I hope this doesn't, I pray today this never becomes between me and my niggas. Very solid stand-up quote. Okay. But it still raised the question of, okay, why would you post yourself making all this money? Then I started to ask myself, why of all people you made the money with Diddy? Okay, it's at the Revolt Summit. My question started to really be was, how did he make so much money at the Revolt Summit when the Revolt Summit was really a collective of people, a collective of entrepreneurs and investors? So how was it P made so much money at the Revolt Summit? I started to put that one on the side and just keep an eye on things, Of course, like I said, I just wanted to know why, of all people, he decided to say he made the money with Diddy. I just wanted to know that one thing. But now, let us all talk about the reason why the Migos had broken up. So, after this Revolt Summit, word had started going around about the Migos possibly not getting back together for the Culture 3 album. And of course, it was really because, and it wasn't necessarily a feud that had, come out into the rumors. A feud didn't, or a fight, I should say, happened between them yet. That didn't happen. It was just hearsay. It was just he say, she say, basically, about the Migos. And Culture 3 was, like I said, in the air. But at the time, as like we just said, Offset has obviously started his solo career, which leaves Quavo and Takeoff saying, all right, well, what the fuck are we going to do? But reason why that was even happening, I would like to now read something that I found just yesterday. So, I guess not a lot of people know about the lawsuit that the Migos had against their lawyer Granderson, right? I do have the lawsuit here. Just want to open it up correctly. Oh, there we go. All right. So, this was a lawsuit filed back in 2020. Okay. It says Superior Court of California, County of L.A., Central District, Migos, LLC, a Delaware limited liability company, or LLC, I should say. This lawsuit was against their lawyer that they said had been taking millions and millions and millions of dollars from them blindly. Okay? Real quick, before we even do that, I just want to preface it, so you guys don't think we're bullshitting here. So, the trio filed the lawsuit back in 2020. I want to get the full name of this guy first, real quick. Well, you know what? We'll just read the lawsuit. How about that? We shall just read the lawsuit. Anywho. All right, so let's just get right to it, shall we? All right, so this action arises out of the timeless tale about the world-famous music group who was robbed and cheated out of millions of dollars by those individuals who the group hired to look out for it and its members' best interests. Defendant Damian Granderson. Granderson is the personification of a self-absorbed shyster lawyer who saw his clients as a mechanism to get rich by any means necessary, including at his client's expense. Like many musicians, the multi-award-winning hip-hop trio Migos had no formal training in law, accounting, finance, or business management. As such, Migos retained and relied on attorney Granderson to act as their fiduciary and use his expertise and best judgment to make decisions that were in Migos and each group member's best interests in all areas related to his retention. Granderson abused his position of trust as Migos fiduciary from the moment he was retained as Migos lawyer. Granderson was working with Migos since the group's early days, including on the 2014 deal to have 300 Entertainment distribute Migos' debut album, Young Rich Nation. At the time, the group's members were in their late teens and early 20s and had nothing more than a high school education. With greed on his mind, Granderson saw the trio as easy targets to coax into a one-sided deal that benefited Granderson and Granderson's higher priority client, Quality Control Music, QC, their parent label. Unbeknownst to Migos, Granderson's representation of QC created an incurable conflict of interest, and Granderson's primary loyalty was with QC, the upstart company that signed Migos to an exclusive recording contract in 2013. So, excuse me, I am parched. Whew. So, in hindsight, that lawyer, Granderson, was basically snaking them from behind their back, but it was also in best interest of the parent company, QC. If we're following along here. So, in 2020, basically the Migos started to say, hey, we're losing a lot of money. We're not losing a lot of money, necessarily, but we're missing a lot of money. And they wanted to know where the hell it went and what had been happening, and they started to track it down from the beginning of time that the lawyer was just being shady with the parent company, and the parent company wasn't telling them shit. So, from the commencement of his representation of Migos, Granderson plotted and schemed to betray his clients so he could take care of himself and QC regardless of the consequences and ramifications to Migos. Granderson first betrayed Migos when he failed to disclose both the complete nature of his relationship with QC and the complete nature of the conflict in representing both QC and Migos. Although the nature of the conflict was incurable, Granderson did not even attempt to obtain an informed conflict waiver from Migos, as obviously would have been required by law to the extent the conflict was waivable, which it was not. Granderson next betrayed Migos when he orchestrated a legal dispute with 300 Entertainment to facilitate a strategy to move Migos and QC from 300 Entertainment to Capitol Records. Excuse me. Now, if you remember, there was a deal between QC and Capitol Records. But as you can hear, the Migos didn't know shit about it. They just was going along with things. So as you can tell, throughout their career, the Migos have basically just been going along with the flow. They've just been making music until they started realizing, okay, hey, we can make a lot more money individually, but we can still be a group. But hey, wait a minute, what the hell is even going on with our money as a group? And why can't we separate? Contractually. Correctly, anyway. So, where were we? Oh, yeah. Okay. So, from 300 Entertainment to Capitol Records. By helping to instigate that legal dispute, Granderson prioritized QC's interests over Migos' interest in breach of the fiduciary duty, effectively preventing Migos from releasing its second album over a year and a half. Woo! Woo! That's a long time. That is a long time. So that is why we didn't see that culture album for quite some time. And then Culture 2 took even longer because of how this lawyer was doing business, basically. In late 2016 and we're going to get into that in just a second, actually. In late 2016 and early 2017, when Migos and QC were in the process of negotiating a distribution agreement with the new record label Capitol Music Group, Granderson again breached his fiduciary duties to Migos. Among other betrayals, he concealed from Migos that QC had an exclusive label agreement with Capitol that would allow Capitol to distribute all albums that QC produced, and that QC was actually profiting far more handsomely than was apparent from the face of the documents that Granderson personally presented to Migos for immediate execution. Granderson later exaggerated the harm he caused to Migos by negotiating a 2018 amendment to the exclusive label agreement between QC and Capitol Records. That amendment triggered an extension of the exclusive recording agreement between QC and Migos, which Granderson knew to contain terms that were unconscionable for Migos. Excuse me. Despite these entanglements, Granderson again failed to obtain an informed conflict waiver as required by California law. Give me 1 second here. I'm actually going to put this up here for y'all, too, so we can just read along, matter of fact, instead of just having that up there. Let's just have that up there, matter of fact. Yeah, let's just have that real quick. We'll have that up there, just so we can all read along now. All right. Sorry, I got a text there. Very important one at that. Need to answer that. Okay, so despite the entanglements, Granderson again failed to obtain an informed conflict waiver as required by California law. Granderson once again favored QC over Migos when negotiating co-publishing agreements. For example, a May 2018 amendment to Quavo's co-publishing agreement with Universal Music Publishing Group gave better terms to QC than Quavo's original co-publishing agreement, which was negotiated when Quavo was not as big a star and had less leverage. Further, when it came time to negotiate agreements for Migos and the other groups, individual members, Granderson performed incompetently. For example, Granderson erroneously drafted an operating agreement with one of the Migos merchandising partners to state that the jointly owned entity would obtain a perpetual exclusive license to make certain Migos branded merchandise, rather than a non-exclusive license. Migos remains embroiled in litigation over that era to this day. So, basically, Granderson put their asses in a 360 deal, and they had no idea that was happening. Including, he put himself in a 360 deal inside of Quavo's, and he didn't know that was happening. He basically brokered Quavo's deal and just decided to put himself in the percentages of Quavo's deal without Quavo knowing anything. Granderson also dropped the ball when Migos asked him to draft agreements for them to work as featured artists on other groups' albums, or as actors in motion pictures. In one instance, his failure to draft the unnecessary side agreement could not be remedied, costing Migos hundreds of thousands of dollars. To add to the list of the numerous negligent acts, Granderson had the complete gall and audacity to practice law without a California license for 5 years after he moved to LA and began practicing law from his Beverly Hills office. His portrayal went even further. Shockingly, despite being incompetent, Granderson took more compensation than it's customary for other lawyers in the field. Moreover, he failed to provide Migos with a written agreement explaining his excessive fees, as is also required by California law. Among his improper billing collection practices, Granderson's law firms always took a 5% contingency fee off the top of the proceeds that QC collected, which meant that Granderson received his cut before Migos paid their expenses. This nigga was shady. This nigga was shady. Wow. Simply put, Damian Granderson had a complete disregard for the law, whether it was being licensed in California or complying with the basic minimum standards of professional conduct. Like having a written fee agreement required for contingency matters, at a minimum, Granderson and his firms should be repaying the millions of dollars in fees they obtained from the Migos, not to mention providing redress for millions of dollars in addition harm they caused through their professional malfeasance. So, in hindsight, the Migos had a pretty good argument there, wouldn't you say? They had a pretty good argument. So, let's go to the background facts here, right? On or about June 18th, 2013, QC signed Migos to a recording agreement. On or about August 21st, 2013, that agreement was replaced by a second recording agreement between the same parties. Pursuant to the QC Migos agreement, QC obtained, among other things, the right to enter into agreements on behalf of the Migos to record and distribute the Migos. I want you to think about that later when we think about a certain revolt something. Okay? So, record, distribute music during the terms of the QC agreement. Alright, so the terms of the QC Migos agreements were and are extremely unreasonable to Migos. In particular, QC obtained the right to administer all of Migos' works and obtained the right to far above industry norm compensation, even though QC was not required to perform any work at all. Worse yet, the QC Migos agreement does not allow Migos to terminate the arrangement as long as QC obtains successive record deals within 15 months. Given that the QC Migos agreement also gives QC the right to enter into distribution agreements with any record labels it chooses on any terms it chooses. The agreement effectively gives QC the choice to extend the term forever. In or about 2014, QC entered into a distribution agreement pursuant to 300 Entertainment, which would distribute Migos' debut album, Young Rich Nation. Granderson had been working with the Migos since 2014 distribution agreement with the 300 Entertainment and has continued to represent Migos ever since that time. Okay? Plaintiffs further are informed and believe, and thereon allege, that from 2014 until May 2019, Granderson was residing in California and regularly conducting business from David Shapiro Beverly Hills office, yet Granderson was not licensed to practice law in the state of California. Moreover, plaintiffs are informed and believe, and thereon allege, that neither David Shapiro's website nor Granderson's LinkedIn page disclosed that Granderson was not licensed to practice in California. Plaintiffs allowed Granderson to negotiate important business agreements on their behalf, including with Universal Music Publishing Group or its affiliated entities, and some of which contained California choice of law provisions. And yet plaintiffs never knew that Granderson lacked a license to practice law here. And the Migos' first album, Young Rich Nation, was released in June 2015 and achieved substantial commercial success, reaching number 17 on the Billboard 200 and number 3 on Billboard's list of top rap albums. Shortly after the release of Young Rich Nation, Granderson orchestrated a legal dispute with 300 Entertainment in an attempt to facilitate a move to a different record label, Capitol Records. Plaintiffs are informed and believe in their own allege that Granderson instigated and drove that legal dispute, even though doing so harmed the interests of its own client Migos, and solely because of the benefit to Granderson's other client QC. The predictable result of this legal dispute was that 300 Entertainment prevented Migos from releasing other albums over at least a year and a half. During that time, Migos lost substantial revenue and lost the opportunity to keep its fan base engaged with new music. In fact, when Migos finally was able to release music, its second album, Culture, the album achieved enormous commercial and critical success as it was nominated for a Grammy for Best Rap Album of the Year and was certified platinum. If not for Granderson delaying the release of Culture, Migos would have been able to earn additional revenue from touring and merchandising during the group's forced hiatus. Plaintiffs are informed and believe thereon allege that Granderson's strategy was highly desirable for QC, but not for plaintiffs because Granderson's was trying to arrange and ultimately did arrange for much of the proceeds of Migos' future work to flow to QC through a secret side agreement with Capitol Records, to which plaintiffs were not privy to. In addition, the occasion of negotiating a new distribution agreement was the prime moment for Migos to renegotiate its exclusive recording agreement with QC. Granderson not only failed to suggest such a renegotiation, but made affirmative efforts to scuttle such a renegotiation when other representatives of Migos noted the grand opportunity. The suit of agreements that Granderson ultimately negotiated to allow for Capitol Records to distribute Migos music works included a distribution agreement between QC and Capitol dated February 2017. That's the Capitol agreement now. Wow, he put him in a whole nother... Wait, so the Capitol distribution agreement was an entire different thing now. So he had his... if I'm looking at this, if we're all following this right, we are now up to what? 3 separate different contracts that the Migos were on that they had no idea was even going on, I should say. There was 3 extra contracts, I should say, that the Migos had no idea about. A letter of inducement to Capitol from the members of Migos and October 28, 2016, amendment to the artist agreement between QC and Migos. Since the onset of that distribution deal with Capitol Records, plaintiffs have received only their unconscionably small share of the amounts that Capitol Records paid to QC pursuant to the Migos distribution agreement, but not all the other amounts paid to QC pursuant to the side agreement. Plaintiffs are informed and believe their own allege Granderson knew these facts but did nothing to protect them or even inform them of the additional amounts QC was receiving, despite being their lawyer. The artist's amendment and the letter of inducement did not merely recite the terms of the existing agreement between Migos and QC. Here's where we get into the meat and potatoes of things, okay? Which QC the right to arrange for the distribution of Migos music, but also require the members of Migos to render their services directly to Capitol for a certain specified compensation in the event their obligations to QC ceased, and the amount of compensation increased if Migos dropped QC. Wow. Thereby creating a built-in distinctive for Migos to end its relationship with QC. So that is why you saw the huge, we about to leave QC thing, and they were back. This is why you saw P get upset. That right there is why you saw P get upset, because it basically told them like, if we leave quality control, We can do our own thing. Are you following? So we've seen this happen before. We've seen this happen with Pac leaving Suge. We've seen this happen with Big leaving Diddy. Right? We've seen this happen. Basically, the Migos said, hey, if we leave QC, we stand a better chance of making some more money, don't we, fellas? So, where were we? Oh, and the amount of compensation increased of Migos dropped QC, thereby creating a built-in Okay. So prior to Migos' execution of these documents, Migos held substantial leverage to obtain better financial terms because, among other things, Migos was not obligated to make a concession that it would perform directly for Capitol Records and pay additional amounts of Capitol Records in the event it no longer was obligated to render services to QC. Nevertheless, the members of Migos did not understand that they had such leverage because Granderson told them, that they did not, and told them that he was representing their interests. The text of the artist amendment strongly supports that Granderson assumed this dual representation, even though Granderson never provided Migos with a written fee agreement or a conflict waiver. In particular, the artist's amendment contains an acknowledgement regarding the right to independent counsel, which strongly implies, just as Granderson indicated orally, that Granderson was representing both QC and Migos in connection with the suite of agreements. The suit of agreements. So he was not any party's independent counsel. The artist amendment does not contain a disclosure that Granderson represented only QC in connection with that agreement. That omission is important because Granderson included such a provision in a different agreement, in which QC and Marshall were counterparties only 2 months later. So, okay. We don't have to read the rest of this part. Because the rest of this just reads basically how, of course, Capitol Records did the same exact thing that 300 did, which was basically continue to fuck them out of the rest of their money. And then it gives a breakdown of all of the different things that Granderson basically had signed off of. So, matter of fact, we are going to read that. Actually, we are going to read that because that's a very important. This is a very important piece here too, because this is a list of what he actually had. So, moreover, Granderson had a conflict of interest that was not and could not be waived, and that prevented him from representing both Migos and QC. That acknowledgement described above did not constitute a valid conflict of interest waiver because it did not disclose the nature of the conflict. In fact, the nature of the conflict was not merely that QC and Migos were counterparties to the artist amendment, but also among other things, that QC was earning enormous sums of undisclosed profits from its side deal with Capitol to make Capitol its exclusive distributor. And QC Migos agreement was subject to an extension favorable to QC upon the extension of the distribution agreement with Capitol Records. Not only that, Granderson negotiated an amendment to Quavo's co-publishing agreement with Universal Music Publishing Group that was less favorable for Quavo and more favorable for QC than the original co-publishing agreement. That made no sense because Quavo had more leverage in the second negotiation and can be explained only by reference to Granderson's gross conflict of interest. So after negotiating the artist's amendment on behalf of both sides, Granderson continued the same dual role through the date of his complaint, never obtaining a waiver of the inherent conflict of interest and never obtaining a written fee agreement that would allow his law firm to collect the 5% contingent fee he received. The following is a list of such agreements that Granderson helped negotiate and from which Granderson obtained that 5% contingency fee. So, he swept at the top for a songwriter and co-publishing agreement for Quavo with UMG. In December 2016, songwriter and co-publishing agreement for Takeoff with Reservoir Media Management Inc., dated in February 9. Remember, Takeoff had his little project that came out in 2017. Songwriter and co-publishing agreement and Offset, Reservoir Media Management as well. Migos artist agreement dated in 2016. The Offset artist agreement in 2017. Quavo's artist agreement in 2017. Merchandising agreement with Bravado International Group Merchandising. Takeoff's artist agreement in 2017 again. Touring agreement with AEG in 2017. And ASCAP writer agreements for Quavo and Takeoff for 2018. But there is more than the ASCAP writer agreement for Offset in 2018 again, as well as the amendment to co-publishing agreement for Quavo UMG in 2018, as well as another co-publishing agreement for Takeoff in 2018, and then another capital distribution agreement in 2018. So dude was making a lot of money just off doing these deals behind the Migos' back. In the case, each of the co-publishing agreements and each of the ASCAP writer agreements listed above, Granderson and his law firm are identified as representatives of plaintiffs. In addition, plaintiffs are informed and believe in their alleged Granderson has held himself out in the public as being an attorney for Migos. Granderson's publicizing of the fact led to statements in widely disseminated publications that he represents Migos. For example, a Hollywood Reported article titled Power Lawyers 2019 10 Top Music Attorneys states that Granderson represents the Migos. Okay. So, of course, this just breaks down, this is just the rest of the lawsuit. But it's just really a breakdown of what we already went through, the rest of that. Anyway, so, in conclusion, there was the shady lawyer, Damian Granderson, that basically was in bed with QC. And, of course, now, Coach K and Pierre are QC, if we're not following along here. They're basically the ones that hired this lawyer, if we're following along here. They hired him. It wasn't like he knocked on the door and said, hey, I'm about to do a bunch of deals for y'all. He hired them. I should say he hired Coach K, and Pierre hired Granderson. Okay? So, with that lawsuit, you start asking yourself, okay, well, did the Migos ever get their money? Whatever happened to that lawsuit? That lawsuit was actually dismissed, unfortunately. That lawsuit was dismissed. Real quick, let's look up what happened to that lawsuit. Says here from Variety Magazine. I want y'all to see this shit in real time. Okay? Says Offset drops the lawsuit against Migos label Quality Control Music. Oh, wait. Not this one. This was. Okay. So, Migos dropped lawsuit against former lawyer. In July 2020, Atlanta rap trio Migos filed lawsuit against their former attorney Damian Granderson, claiming that he robbed and cheated them out of millions of dollars. Among the suit claims were that Granderson intentionally delayed the release of the group's 2017 LP, Culture, costing them potential profit, and that he practiced law without the California license, blah, 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 for 5 years. But there was an interesting excerpt from P that said that he didn't understand it. He didn't understand it at all. Says following the 2020 lawsuit, Quality Control CEO Pierre Thomas responded to the allegations on social media, writing that the company has always practiced honest business and complete transparency from the beginning when we started Quality Control Music. So basically, he didn't understand why they even made any allegations to begin with. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? So, your group comes to you and says, yo, you got a shady-ass lawyer that's been pinching off of all of us. All of us, basically. And you knew about this? Really? Okay. You knew he was fucking us over. All right. Bet. All right. So, you start to see, again, the distance between everybody. What starts to happen? Remember, the lawsuit was when? 2020? 2021, we get what? 2021, we get this question.
Judge off your facial expressions, so watch it.
I don't know nothing.
Yo, give us the tea, man. What's going on with the Migos beef, bro? Like, what's going on? I'm gonna be honest. I hit Offset. Offset said, "Bro, shit ain't real." I'm gonna judge off your facial expressions, so watch it.
I don't know nothing.
They're just promoting the song. This is what I think. The Migos could never break up. I'm gonna be honest with you. The Migos are so fucking iconic. And while we're here, since you know, like, we're not gonna call it dick riding. That sounds very lewd. What? We're just gonna call it giving people their flowers. We should give the Migos their flowers because honestly, like when they first said they were the best group ever,
they get their flowers. Get that.
No, I'm talking about all time now. You remember when they first said like they were the best group ever? Like there was a couple of, like, you know, at those,
like over like Coldplay and the Beatles and like you saying like ever like over Pink Floyd.
We not okay.
Rap group. Oh, rap group. Best rap group.
Best trio.
What the fuck else is there? Beastie Boys? What the fuck else? What other trios are there? The Beastie Boys?
Nigga, I had to get them in a spot. Yeah, because if I said groove, then I thought about Outkast and like, fuck.
Wu-Tang Clan and all.
Yeah, that's too many niggas.
Yeah, but it's literally just them and Beastie Boys. What other trio? Oh, no, it's not. It's the little midget guy that I don't know, bro. That shit get old. Migos is definitely the best rap group of modern rap.
All right.
Not the prehistoric.
If Offset drops out of Migos, would you take their place?
Absolutely not. Fuck no. Nah, I'm good, man.
Yo. When you see, I know like you're probably like you've been working on the album, you've been doing your own thing, and like I feel like you've been really in your own world recently. But like, when do you see shit like that though? Do you fucking
in my label or just out in the world?
Well, I mean, whether it's it's a little bit closer to home, right? But when you see shit like that, like, do you even react to it?
Well, it's always late, so it's late to the public. Then
so it's real? It's not real, nigga.
No, I'm not talking about that situation. I'm just talking about in general. Like usually when shit hits the fan, it's usually late.
Okay.
So like, it's like usually like any kind of speculation or anything going on. It's usually some shit that's probably been going on. You know, and usually in rap or in music, if something happened, it's usually speculating. Like you usually hear something about it, and then before it come out. So I don't really think much of anything when it hit the blogs, but I don't know.
Yeah, I heard some wild rumors, but I trust Offset, and it's the one thing that I definitely believe is like you're not gonna even like you and you don't have to sit here and admit anything, but I'm pretty sure you've had disagreements or slight issues during your time just being someone who's like on a label. Like, you know what I mean? Now, it probably was resolved. Nobody heard about it. I think these days it's just all about when we get it. Like, when the audience gets it, we hype it up. Oh shit, he just dropped a song without him. Oh shit, he don't follow them. And it's like a huge thing. But like, in life, we have disagreements. Like, disagreements and some sort of friction at times is part of life. Like, nothing is ever just the happy shit ever.
Yeah, of course. Right. What you getting at?
So is it true?
I don't know.
Have you seen the three of them together at the QC studios?
I haven't seen the three of them separately.
Damn.
I ain't seen the niggas in a long time.
When is QC going on tour? That's what we got to figure out. Like, y'all got to go on tour. Like,
and that right there was the main telling. Yachty's was probably the most telling out of everybody, even when you asked them individually about the Migos breakup. Yachty's was probably the most telling without saying shit. He said it very subtle. Most things have been going on. Even though you don't hear about them, you know, most of those things you usually hear about when it's, you know, when it's been going on like that, right? You usually hear about it when it's been going on, right? He was trying to say that shit been going on behind the scenes. And no one was saying anything. That's why. So the Migos had in fact broken up. They just wasn't going to say they broke up. Because contractually they couldn't say they broke up. As you just heard. Contractually, they weren't allowed to break up. And once they actually did break up, what happened? Interesting, right? But before that incident, a certain birthday party happened around this 2021, didn't it? So, remember when I said some hairs had raised on my back about Pierre showing all that money and how he made it with Diddy? Started to think about that. I really started to think about that, you know? Because shortly thereafter, in 2021, someone got a white tiger for their birthday. You remember that?
QC CEO Pierre Thomas celebrates his 40th birthday with Diddy and others.
Yes, sir. You know, you gotta have options. Shout out to my brother P. Yeah, I'm on my way. You know. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to change. I'm gonna bring 100 tuxedos to Atlanta. Yeah, so we out here. You know, we headed. PA, we on our way. We got this jet right here. This just for the tuxedos. You know what I'm saying? No. Yeah. We got all black pilots. Yes, sir, Peace King. Combs there. You know what I'm saying? You see what it is? I know you don't see a lot of black pilots. Yeah, definitely. You know what I'm saying? We on our way. We on our way. Yeah.
Diddy actually hosted Pierre's birthday party. Isn't that interesting? Diddy hosted his birthday party.
You switched it up, boy. So let's talk about.
Hey man, we gotta stay tuned, man, because we got to show out tonight. We're showing out.
What we doing tonight?
Hey, we celebrating tonight. That's what we doing.
My brother, we getting the countdown has begun. Our phones are off. Do not call us. Do not come in there playing. It's the finest of the fine. We just talk about what we gonna wear. We talk about cats that sending us fits, and everybody's buying up all the fabric and all the diamonds. No, they can't even deliver us nothing because everybody's buying up everything. But cheers to you, King.
Cheers.
Happy birthday.
Make sure y'all get y'all some of this. You don't even need no chase.
What's that called?
Man, this is a rock. What is it? What flavor this is?
Summer citrus? Yeah. Love.
Well, you look who he's sitting next to. And if you don't know who that is, this gentleman to the left has had a series of accusations against him for, I don't know, the past month, I guess you could say. Now, in one video, we were able to break down how he was close to Nipsey Hussle prior to his passing. This gentleman, for some reason, has been able to show up right around the time that people are dropping. Or should I say, he seems to know how to show up around the time of opportunity in business, doesn't he? But one has to ask, now, what does the business have to do with QC? What does Diddy have to do with QC? Well, we know one thing that happened followed from this, didn't we? Young Miami, right?
Respect the hustle, so that's why I'm here. And we have a lot of kings, but you P, baby. You understand? And so, we're gonna put some respect on the name and some love on it. And since I'm king in New York, Miami, and LA, I come with greetings from the other empires, and I pay respect to you.
Respect. How you feel?
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
My boy know. My boy know. He got.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
You already know, grown man. I gotta move some over now, baby. Move them over. Move them pilots. Get them pilots out the way.
Now you gotta get two other watches out.
Nah, get them.
You gotta keep the paddocks in there.
I know, but just
take the Cartier out.
Put that in there.
You know, that way and that one. You gonna take one of these doing right here. Cheap Rolex. Cool. See? You got another box? I got you.
Peace. Stop playing, man. I'm on my way. I'm in the city. Popping big like my dog birthday baby. Let's go.
What that is, the double breast? Well, you ain't got no time tonight. How you feel? That's how you feel? You dripping like that? My man got me right. You know, so gotta torch that thing or something like that. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Turn the lights up. I'm gonna be back home. We here. We here. Oh boy, I'm proud of it. Well, yeah, coming like that. Yeah, you gotta come. We're gonna come. You gonna push it up, be on. You gonna be on, never go off. Hey, hold on. Right now, my boy got to see now. My boy got that. That right. That's how you feel, man. Listen, it's in us, man. It ain't on us, man. It's in us, man. You know what I mean, man? You bring it.
Mrs. Davis. That's right.
Hold up, man. Man, don't play with him. Hey, man. Sir. Come on, man. Come on, sir.
Say suit and tie, he say.
Suit and tie type shit.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, let me show y'all my yeah. Man, this how you do it, Pete. Come on, bro. We ain't even walked our way in the door.
This man has bought him a white tiger. That's right. For QC's birthday party, or should I say just his birthday in general, Diddy bought him a white fucking tiger. Of all things. And hosted one of the most extravagant parties Atlanta had ever fucking seen, with the most star-studded event. I would say, one of the most extravagant nights that you could actually see. Host of celebrities.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone was there.
Oh, gee, what it do?
Look at Whack.
Nah, for real.
It's a holiday.
Oh man, so listen, it's one of them type of nights, it's a DeLeon type of night. We're gonna celebrate one of our black kings. And let's toast up to black excellence. You know what I'm saying? Love.
Some of you are saying, what the fuck does this have to do with Diddy, right? Diddy just threw QC a party. He just wanted to show him some love, right? It's his homie, right? Just wanted to show him some love. Now, ironically, the following year, guess who joined Motown Records? Now, was Motown Records got to do with anything? Motown Records was the parent company at the time of QC. The following year, in 2022, let's all read together, shall we? The following year, in 2022, as he prepares for his debut as host and executive producer of the upcoming 22 Billboard Music Awards, Diddy, aka Love, is announcing news on another front. He's formally launching his Love Records in tandem with signing a one-time album deal with guess who? Motown Records. Now, he actually did a partnership deal with Motown. But, as everyone already said, Diddy never necessarily left Motown. It's where he started. Diddy never necessarily left Motown Records. If you guys don't remember, Motown is his parent company. It's where he started with Andre Harrell. So, what does Motown Records have to do with anything, right? So, 2022, May of 2022 at that, May 15th, he announces this partnership, right? Of him going back to Motown Records, the parent company of QC. 5 days fucking later, we get, what's this? On Revolt website, this Friday, May 20th, 2022, Quavo and Takeoff will be making their debut as Unk and Few with the new single Hotel Lobby. Huh. Interesting. So, you mean to tell me 5 days after Diddy does this partnership deal with Motown, where QC is signed to, a year after he does Pierre's birthday party, gives him a white tiger, we get Unk and Few 5 days after Diddy joins Motown again, right? Now the ball is at the top of the hill rolling down, isn't it? So they announced this hotel video, right? Let's bring up this hotel video. Shall we? Because there was some interesting things, I should say, in the hotel video. Oh, where art thou? Oh, where art thou? Let's see, let me just get you again. Ah, here we go.
You got shrooms? Take shrooms?
Yeah. You got some on you?
Shrooms to do.
Oh. I thought you were asking if I want some shrooms right now.
Did you hear that? I didn't want to play the video just yet because I wanted you to hear that. If you didn't, I'll let you hear it again.
You got shrooms? Take shrooms?
Yeah. You got some on you?
Shrooms to do.
Oh. I thought you were asking if I want some shrooms right now.
Let's get it. Hop off a 16.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that little that? You heard that, right? I know it wasn't just me that heard that. So, I'm going to bring up my FL Studio real quick in real time. And I want you guys to all hear what exactly that was. All right, where's Hotel at? Let's pull up my Stewie here. Just so you guys can see. Sorry for such long pauses sometimes. A brother concentrating. But anyway, as you can see, we will take off hotel lobby. I took the actual audio from the video. Okay? Before we look at the video, I'd like to break down the beginning part of this audio. I'm going to just drag it here. Let's go to this one. Let's go to a fresh one. We're going to reverse that since it was already reversed. Right? Let's now hear what that was.
I just pop this shit, nigga. I just pop one, nigga, and just pop this shit, nigga, and just pop me, son, nigga. I just pop me, son, nigga.
So, we can clearly hear Quavo saying, or someone saying, like Quavo, I just popped me something, nigga. I just popped something. Ha ha ha. I just popped something. Let's hear it again.
I just pop this shit, nigga. I just pop one, nigga, and just pop this shit, nigga, and just pop me, son, nigga. I just pop me, son, nigga.
So, you can clearly hear Quavo going, I just popped me something, nigga. Ha ha ha. I just popped something, nigga. Interesting. Why would that be in the beginning of the hotel video? Well, let's all look at that hotel video real quick, shall we? I mean, one can only speculate what might be going on in that hotel video, don't you think?
You got shrooms? Take shrooms?
Yeah. You got some on you?
Shrooms you do.
Oh, I thought you were asking if I want some shrooms right now.
Now, in the very beginning of this video, there's already symbology. Number one, I'm going to also say that when I first saw this video, and even the beginning setting of it, I said, this is no different than mobsters when they take, I don't know, their acquaintances, witnesses, or just someone that they're about to get rid of, out to the desert. Remember? We've all seen the mob movies, Casino, and things like that, right? They go out to the desert to either talk about something that they shouldn't be talking about, away from FBI and things like that, right? Or they go out to the desert to remove someone. Interesting that this video was in the setting of Casino. Now, the real question is, why was this record named Hotel Lobby? The reason why I paused it here is because I want you to remember this red car here. This red Cadillac, or DeVille, Coupe DeVille, is going to be very symbolic later on when we review some other footage.
It's crowded. Diamonds be dancing like Bobby. They dance. Don't touch a dick like it be cocky. Don't touch it. Shroom and GC the party. We geeky. Bitches gon' trend on the top. Keep trending. The way I pull up, I'ma pop it, and none of these niggas gon' stop me. Pull up, gone. Put that shit on, get a cup for the drip. I'm a motherfucking 5. Keep low. Keep stacking your bank, I'll get bigger. Never would. I throw some shit on no nigga. On team. Little nigga, don't play with these niggas. I see the big picture. We up on these niggas. The huncho, the one you gon' call on me, nigga. I got your back, you gon' follow me, nigga.
Now, I got your back, you gonna follow me, nigga. And I started to pause it right before he said that, but I'm glad I waited till him actually saying that. Because I wanted to pinpoint the fact that Takeoff in this entire video is seen doing what? Basically following behind Quavo. Whatever Quavo is getting him into, Takeoff is along for the ride, basically. Even from the beginning. Quavo's already in the car. Takeoff hops in. When Quavo gets out, Quavo is, of course, the most intoxicated, doesn't know where he is. And basically is the ringleader of the whole operation.
When I get up, we gon' ball on these niggas. Fucking shit up, cause we beat out the system. Fuck the system. Water on me, like the sauna.
Now, I want you to remember this too. What did he just slam on the table?
Water on me, like the sauna. I see the big picture, we up on these niggas. The huncho, the one you gon' call on me, nigga. I got your back, you gon' follow me, nigga. When I get up, we gon' ball on these.
Notice, it's a black spider. Why would he slam a black spider in front of Quavo? As Takeoff is just gazing at it. Now, I want you to remember this black spider later on when we review another video.
Fucking shit up, cause we beat out the system. Fuck the system. Water on me, like the sauna. Some carrots, some pointers. All these commas, I won't fumble. Migo gunners out the jungle. Buy it all, fuck a fronter. Fuck nigga, cake on me, no funnel. Cash. Drop top feeling like stunner. Drop top. Can't D play no runner. We gon' chrome my wallet, smoke my pilot. Take 3 vibe to the tropics. Go. Nigga one shit. I was outside just serving narcotics. Pay me that stick. Nigga made one wrong move, just popping. Living on broke with the whole flooded out in the hotel lobby. Flooded.
Now, another thing you should also pay attention to is the fact that this video is very, I don't know, casino based. Now, what has to do with the casino? Dice games, right? Betting, gambling. Wasn't Takeoff around gambling when he passed away? Interesting. Another video that seemed to raise a lot of suspicion, and I mean a lot of suspicion, was the Messy video. Now, we can go on for days about the Carisha Please line. But there are many other things in this video that are going to raise the hairs on your chinny chin chin. Besides that Carisha Please line. As seen here in the very beginning of the video, Quavo, again, is already awake. Takeoff is passed out sleep. What is the symbology of this? Someone already having the drop on you. In a sense.
Take. Yo. Man, I just had a crazy ass dream, bro.
About what?
About some messy ass shit.
Feel like I was walking through a haunted house, a little kid. Walked in, man, there was a whole bunch of shit going on. I thought I was tripping.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to also point out other symbology right now. Some of you may not know this. The stripes on Quavo's shirt. Or what? Black and white. That is Masonic symbology.
Where the fuck we at?
I don't know.
Get the fuck up out of here, man.
Yeah. At the very beginning of the video, we see what? Banging on a door. On the entrance of a door, right? Shouting at the entrance of a door. Takeoff was killed at the entrance of the bowling alley, where they were shouting and arguing. If you notice behind him, there's a skeleton hanging directly behind Takeoff.
They thought we forgot.
If we move up and widen the screen, what's behind the skeleton? Remember that black spider? There's a black spider web behind Takeoff.
We ain't forget. Don't let that bro bitch in, cause she too messy. Who the fuck them bro boys with? Get out my section.
Now, this part right here, very symbolic. Once again, Takeoff is seen passing by young children arguing over something.
Out my section. Just pull the muscle, goddamn, too much flexing. Damn, caught them in traffic on the accident, we pressing. Got them, smoking Zaza every.
Arguing, running off. Very similar to the scenario he was last in.
Second, I be stressing. If you ain't tryna beat them, fuck it, won't you stretch them? Do that. They wipe their nose for that tissue, God bless them. Wipe.
Now, isn't it very ironic that this video is also around, I don't know, lots of spider webs? As we come into this scene here, we also see what? Gambling on the table.
I dropped the 4 perp, I call that shit Chris Webber. Drink, take off. I know you niggas wanna be me, but it's levels. Bitch, I got the game tatted.
Now, a lot of people pointed out this right here, this symbology. If you notice the silhouette around Takeoff, there's an eye. This is the all-seeing eye symbolism around him. If you also notice, there's an empty chair. What's in the empty chair?
On me, that's forever. Gang, wanna know?
In the empty chair, there was money. If you notice, that was symbolic to Takeoff leaving. Leaving money around, basically. If you notice in this picture, he's sitting in a chair where there's supposed to be 3 people, but it's just him.
My moves and all my spots, but I move clever. Move. Wanna know my stash, how much I got, but I ain't gon' tell them. Push it, running through it, get that bag, come on. Go. Titanic yacht, big enough for all my niggas to jump on. I know she came with you, but she looking for me to go home. Roll it, discontinue.
Now, once again, very symbolic as he's passing by, in between, once again, arguing. Each one of these scenes, if you guys are really following along here, each one of these scenes represented when Takeoff was about to pass away. I can do a full, messy, symbolic breakdown of Masonic references in this, but I'm trying to keep it simplistic for certain viewers.
Like the drink I used to sip on. And that's act, nigga. Not WAP. Not Quagan. Not Red. Don't let that bro bitch in, cause she too messy. Who the fuck them bro boys with? Get out my section. Get out my section. Just pull the muscle, goddamn, too much flexing. Damn. Call them.
Now, if you noticed, he also bumped what? A hanging black cat.
In traffic on the accident, we pressing. Got him. Smoking Zaza every second, I be stressing. If they ain't tryna.
Now, what does he pass by here? He passes by a kid shooting. Interesting. Takeoff passes by a kid shooting and looking away as if Takeoff. Now, notice also, what's Takeoff wearing? Takeoff is wearing a white t-shirt. In this scenario right here is damn near perfect perpendicular to how he actually died. His back was turned. He had no idea that there was a guy shooting in another direction and ended up hitting him. Interesting.
Beat him, fuck it, won't you stretch him? Do that. They wipe their nose for that tissue, God bless him. Wipe it. I dropped the 4 perp, I call that shit Chris Webber. Drink. I'm the huncho, bitch, I'm about my cheddar.
Now, This was one of the most symbolic parts of the video that everyone started to point out. Forget the line. Notice how Quavo is laying down with a gun next to him. Also, in front of that gun is a Migos contract.
Little hoe keep going outside, little bitch do better. Bitch, she want me to hit it, put my blicky on the dresser. Glocky, feeling brilliant, just like Elon, pop the Tesla. Pop it, go. You ain't got no motion, you can't stand up in my session. Get out. I said Carisha, please, cause she too messy. Please. Bitch, fuck my dog behind my back, but I ain't stressing. Not at all. You wanted the game, you should've just said it, we would've blessed it. Should've just said it.
Now, what's right next to Takeoff? As I said before, we could focus on the Carisha please line, but there were more important things to focus on. As he says that, they pan right next to Takeoff, standing right next to a Grim Reaper on the wall that says R.I.P., with Takeoff standing directly next to it.
It got messy. Smoking exotic shit with an exotic bitch. Exotics. Geeking on bringing all kind of narcotics.
Now, most people did not notice to point out the symbology in this video. This video was elevation. Now, I want you to also notice the time on the front here.
With me, narcotics. Got guns on the table.
The time is 2:39:45. This particular scene ends at 2:40 exactly. What does 2:40 have to do with anything? I don't know. Maybe it's the time someone got killed? Interesting. The same exact time that Takeoff was killed is also seen in this messy video.
I'm like, who fired this here? Who? This bitch got past security. I'm like, who let her
Don't
in?
let that broke bitch in, cause she too messy. Who the fuck them broke boys with? Get out my section. Get out my section.
Now, symbology here again. On top of the fact that Quavo is wearing figures that has hands all over him. The clothing, hands all over. As he's walking beside Takeoff, he has clothing that says hands all over. That is the design that he is wearing. Hands all over.
Just pull the muscle, goddamn, too much flexing. Damn, caught him in traffic on the accident, we pressing. Got him.
Notice what they're passing by. And Quavo was also saying the same thing that he said before Takeoff passed away. Yo, let's get out of here.
Smoking Zaza every second, I be stressing. If you ain't try.
Notice what's also around is Quavo saying, let's get out of here. Arguing and all the messiness that was just around in the house.
Beat him, fuck it, won't you stretch him? Do that. They wipe their nose for that tissue, God bless him. Wipe it. I dropped the 4 perp, I call that shit.
Notice at the end of the video, there is celebration.
Weber, drink.
The amount of symbology that was actually in that video is actually astonishing. The fact that people didn't notice so much of it is even more astonishing. But we have other things to look at. We have other things that also to back up that messy video, right? We're going to now fast forward to that painful evening. This right here would be the last night that we actually seen Takeoff.
Man, slide through the town.
How we get down?
Got the birthday boy with me.
Yeah, also.
Yeah, we on the 5th. Yeah, the 5th boy.
Got a 6'1".
He in that candy thing without the swing. He in that candy thing without the swing, man.
What do we see here? That candy thing without the swing looks very similar to that same candy thing without the swing that we saw in the hotel lobby video, isn't it?
Hold up. Hey, man. Yeah.
Look what Takeoff's wearing. Minus the glove. Damn near identical to what he was wearing in the Messi video, isn't it?
Man, yeah, man. We got a little bit of straightening going on. You feel me? Yes, sir. Yes, sir, nephew. Hey, man. That's how we rock. Put that in the back.
Now, the man behind the camera right now is Mike Prince. Mike Prince is actually the brother of Jazz Prince. Mike Prince was the heavier gentleman with the dreads, the light-skinned heavier gentleman with the dreads, in the $1 Million Worth of Game interview that was basically tearing up in feel for Offset. Excuse me, in feel and emotion for Takeoff and the passing of Takeoff. That was that gentleman, which you'll see very shortly.
Got that big old boxer back there.
Hey, man.
Now, this would be later on identified as the actual murder weapon of Takeoff.
Man,
Got that heavyweight back there.
Don't think we playing.
Thank you, man.
Don't think we playing, man. Hey, man. We got a little bit of straightening going on. Yeah, the biggest.
That is Migo Bands, a.k.a. Willie Bands. Real name, Willie Bland. We will get to know him later on.
I see nephew in the back seat back there. Okay.
Yep.
You know it's mob shit, man. You know what I'm saying, me?
But the same thing happens each time. As you can see, Migo Bands backs up in Takeoff's direction. That's guy punches Quavo. Light breaks out. Shots are starting to fire here. But if we pause the video, we see who? Willie Bands. Migo Bands is right here. We just saw the camera pan away from who? Takeoff. Takeoff is right here. Migo Bands is right here. Now, there was multiple angles that said, oh, someone was behind Takeoff. Someone was trying to come behind Takeoff. But even if that were the case, wouldn't Migo Bands then shoot behind Takeoff? Right? Now, as you can see, I'm going to say this once, and we're going to remember this, okay? I'm going to say this a couple times, actually. Migo Band says that he shot in the direction of the bowling alley. As we can clearly see, the bowling alley was to his right. Takeoff was to his left. Correct? There were no shooters to the opposite direction of Takeoff. There were no shooters behind Takeoff. There were only shooters in front of Takeoff. Let's watch again. Migo Bands backs up as Takeoff is coming near him. Migo Bands pulls out weapon. Have we seen anybody behind Takeoff at this point? Have we seen anybody causing any type of aggression or harm towards Takeoff that would cause Migo Bands to do this? The gentleman that they said was approaching him is way over here. Takeoff is way down here by Migo Band still. Shots fired. So, I mean, man, that's the thing. That's another thing. So, real quick, if you don't know, the entire world basically broke down last year with DJ Academics, who Willie Bland was, who Patrick Clark was, who the other young gentlemen were that were there shooting. There were 3 shooters that night, including one other suspect. Only Patrick Clark so far is on trial for this. In which we just saw in the footage, Pat was somewhere else. He was there at the shooting, of course, but he wasn't near Takeoff, where Takeoff got shot, as you clearly saw. Pat was either back in the bowling alley or further down with his own scuffle, or getting the fuck out of there. But don't take my word for it. Let's evaluate a little bit further into that night, shall we?
And what actually happened in full detail by the investigators by looking at all of the video footage from inside the business, outside the business, and the phone recordings that we all saw. Okay, so here it is. It gets crazy. Let's get it. Investigators obtained video surveillance from the bowling alley and other area businesses. We also received multiple cell phone videos capturing various angles and portions of the event. Your affiant has thoroughly reviewed all of the aforementioned videos, which individually capture different perspectives of the events before, during, and after the shooting. Review of all the various videos revealed the following. There is a total of approximately 34 individuals standing in a group outside the bowling alley immediately before the shooting. The complainant's fellow group member, Quavius Marshall, aka Quavo, was arguing with a man later identified as Michael Prince and 2 young black males. Now, again, we felt that initially when we first seen it, that he was arguing with Mike Prince, or we felt that Mike Prince was the mediator between him and 2 other dudes or other dudes. But he was arguing with Mike Prince. Let's continue. A one small male wearing a yellow hooded sweater, later identified as Cameron Joshua, aka Little Cam, 5th Ward, and a larger male wearing a white or light tan hooded sweatshirt, later identified as Christopher Watkins. Video evidence obtained shown that Quavo and the 2 younger men had all been involved in a dice game inside the bowling alley, and a finance investigation indicated that they were arguing outside because the 2 men have won money in the game. Now, initially, they said that they won $7,000 from him, so all this is starting to make a little bit more sense or sound familiar. Okay, now after an initial physical altercation between the 2 groups, Joshua appears to be struck. Now hold on, after an initial physical confrontation, some physical shit was happening, but hey, between the two groups. Joshua appears to be struck by an individual later identified as Willie Bland, who is Migo Bands, who was supposed to be Quavo's brother. So who initiated what happened? Wow. Who investigation revealed was associated with Quavo. Two different males can be identified as firing weapons from different directions during the incident, one of which is Willie Bland. Affiant reviewed a lab report created by firearms examiner R. Hucano, however you want to pronounce it, of the Houston Forensic Science Center, which stated that all 9 of the .40 caliber cases had been fired from a single weapon and a 9mm casing from a different weapon. So there was only 2 shooters. The video showed that a large black male identified as Migo Bands, aka Willie Bland, was one of the men firing a gun. However, the trajectory taken by any bullet fired from his location at that time of any given discharge was not consistent with the injury sustained to Kershnet Ball, aka Takeoff, given Ball's body positioning throughout the duration of the gunfire, as we all suspected. Your affiants believe that the video evidence shows the following. A black male, later identified as Patrick Clark, date of birth August 4th, 89, whom affiant had previously developed as a possible suspect, pulled the gun and fired multiple rounds in the direction of the complainant seconds before the complainant collapsed to the ground. The video does not show any other individual shooting a gun or positioning their bodies to shoot a firearm, arm raised in firing position, from the same direction from which Clark was shooting. On the video, Clark can be seen discharging the firearm several times. Multiple muzzle flashes are visible. Clark then fled on foot around to the nearby House of Blues, where he was captured on closer video surveillance. Clark then returned briefly to the bowling alley, where he was again captured on interior surveillance, meaning inside the bowling alley. So he came back to the scene. Wow. Before fleeing the scene, surveillance from inside the bowling alley showed that he was carrying a semi-automatic handgun when he went back inside. During the actual shooting, Clark was holding a wine bottle in one hand while he discharged the firearm with the other. Immediately after the shooting, Clark ran over by the House of Blues, where he set the wine bottle down and never came back for it. The aforementioned bottle was collected into evidence during the initial scene investigation, and affiant made a request to have it processed for latent fingerprints. Later, affiant received a lab report completed by the HFSC latent print examiner HVU, which stated that the fingerprint matching that of Patrick Clark, date of birth August 4th, 1989, had been left on the wine bottle. Additionally, affiant has compared the high-quality surveillance video recording from inside the bowling alley to be known to a known picture of Clark, date of birth we already know, and has confirmed that it is the same person. Affiant and his partner review Willie Bland, aka Migo Band's Quavo's brother, allegedly his brother, whom admitted to firing a weapon at the scene, though he said he did not know the caliber of the weapon. Bland stated that he was part of a traveling group including Takeoff, Quavo, and several other individuals, and stated that they were visiting local music producer Jazz Prince, as we all seen in the video, which included going to a basketball game at a local gym and then going to the party at the bowling alley. Bland stated that he had seen 2 males we had identified as Joshua and Watkins throughout the evening at both the basketball and the bowling alley, and that he had seen them with guns. So he had been on point. Bland stated that he was watching them both when Quavo was arguing with them before the shooting. And as Quavo turned and walked away, he believed that Joshua said something and began pulling a gun. So he reached out and punched him. Bland was advised that he thought that the males were about to try to rob Quavo. Remind y'all, somebody said, you gonna run all them pockets. Something like that. Remember that, right? Okay. So let's go back to where I was at. Bland stated that he then shoved the other male when he saw him coming toward him and heard gunfire erupt around him. Bland stated that he believed it was probably Cameron shooting at him. So he began shooting at Cameron Joshua, Little Cam. A fine observer from the review of the video surveillance recordings described above that at the time the shooting appears to start, Joshua ran back inside the bowling alley and that he was armed with a handgun, but there is no video evidence showing him firing a gun. I said this before too and pointed that out. You seen the chain swinging, look like he popped some chain, take off chain before he ran inside. Okay? And you see him kind of tucking something in his hoodie pocket. So it looked like he had a handgun, but you never see him shoot anything. You know? But anyway, Affiant knows from his scene investigation that 3 gunshots were fired into the bowling alley. Affiant believes these bullets are consistent with having been fired by Willie Bland based on his movements and position. In your Affiant's opinion, these shots could not have caused the injuries to the deceased victim or the living victims due to the shooting angles, positions of the parties, and complainants' injuries. In my opinion, the video evidence supports Bland's statement regarding his actions before, during, and after the shooting. Now that's crazy. Now it all makes sense now. It really all makes sense. So could, Migo Bands be the one that, oh, no. I don't want to say that he, because I want to make sure I'm saying it correctly. Because, like,
Fuck all that. Because what he's about to say is opposite to what we've already established, right? Of course, this statement was to make it look like Willie didn't shoot Takeoff. If you're not following along, of course. The statement was to look like Willie had nothing to do with this. Let's put it like this. The statement Willie gave was to say, hey, I was shooting, but I wasn't shooting at Tate. Which we all saw in the video was a little different, right? Now, of course, they're saying that there was video footage of Clark shooting at Migo Bands and da-da-da-da. Nigga, I done scaved this internet for that video. Ain't no video of Clark directly shooting in Takeoff's direction. Majority of the videos are the one that we just saw just now. Okay? Majority. There's going to be 1 or 2 other angles of this that do show Clark, but none of them really show the angle in which that he was firing in the angle of Take. The only person we saw firing in the angle of Take was Migo Bands. So, if I was planning, let's just say, right? If I planned a hit on someone that I brought with me, the best way to get that hit done would be to make him feel safe, right? How do you make him feel safe? You have him feel safe with a gentleman you have with you having a weapon, right? Interesting. Come to find out, Migo Bands was never supposed to have his hands on that gun, wasn't he? Because the gun that was brought was actually in for protection.
You're now tuned into $1 million worth of gain.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
We sitting here with the Prince family, man.
Okay, so
homie is somebody he can just hit and knock out and different things like that. And it was a wrong thing to do, man. And it was an embarrassing thing to do because it was, you know, like Mike said, it was so unnecessary. It wasn't even that type of atmosphere. You know, y'all talking about a basketball game. You know what I mean? A 2-on-2, playing a 2-on-2, and now you can turn a misdemeanor into a felony.
I'm going to say this. A lot of people seen the video. It was a few seconds. And Junior, they seen you walking by. We understand that, you know, Quavo, Takeoff, they was down here with y'all. But they seen you walking by. He's laying on the ground. You got Mike bending down, and they seen you walking by. What took place there?
This the crazy thing about the video, right? Is
just for those that don't know at home, this is Jay Prince. This is Jazz Prince. And this is Mike Prince. Mike Prince was the host of that video footage that we saw in the beginning, that candy paint thing without the swang. That was Mike Prince saying that. This is Jazz Prince, the alleged host of the event that night, of the gambling that took place. This is his father, Jay Prince Sr. Now, quick background on Jay Prince Sr. Jay Prince Sr. is a very well-known executive and businessman in Houston. Through his connections, I'll just say that, in the neighborhoods and communities, he has acquired a certain amount of respect. Through that respect, his son is able to establish a brand called Mob Ties through it. And within that, there's been some things that have been said about the organization. One would reference the Duke the Jeweler situation that happened recently prior to that. Years before that, a Duke the Jeweler was seen winning $100,000 from Jazz Prince at a gambling and then killed later after in the parking lot. Of course, they never went down for that, but one had to once again speculate of what happened that evening.
one scenario is that they see Mike on the ground trying to help Takeoff, but in the video, Mike was right behind me. People didn't peep that. People think that I'm the one who had a voice. I mean, I'm the one who was speaking in the video when I wasn't. If you go back and look at the video, Mike is walking right behind me. They took 3 seconds of a situation where I was caught on video and turned it into what they wanted it to be. But in our actuality, we had been there for a while. Mike was following me so we can go to the restroom so he can wash the blood off his hands and so he can enlighten me to what transpired, because I wasn't even out there when this transpired. I was inside paying a bill. So I had no knowledge of what had transpired outside. As I'm walking I had just got done paying the bill. As I'm walking to the door, I hear gunshots. And then I also hear bullets coming through the glass. So I got out the way because I was almost at the door. So I end up getting out the way. And sadly, what had taken place had taken place. But in that 3-second clip, it was me and Mike walking to the restroom so he can wash the blood off his hands and so he can enlighten me to what transpired outside.
There was rumors that after all this occurred, you was the one that took Quavo and them to the hospital. Y'all still was together after the fact.
I stayed with Quavo. We stayed out there probably like 2 or 3 hours together before we all parted ways and made sure each other was cool. Like, me and him stayed out there. Like, one other person pulled up, but it was me and him that stayed out there for hours after this transpired. So
Interesting. So even after that happened, you would think, right? A serious situation happened amongst a scuffle or where I was last seen saying, hey, yo, let me get out of here before I hurt somebody. A bunch of guns come out, a bunch of bullets fly, and my family dies. So the guy that was hosting the event, you then go to for consultant? That was possibly the reason why that happened? Interesting. Because at the time, there was supposed beef between Quavo's other brother, or should I say Takeoff's brother, and Jazz Prince. There was beef between Offset and Jay Prince and the Prince family at this time. So needless to say, there were many people believing that Jazz Prince and the Prince family had something to do with Takeoff's death, when in fact it did not.
Yeah, so it's just interesting how, one can take a 3-second lie, you know what I mean, and contaminate, a bunch of damn fools that'll believe anything that they see. And when in actuality, as you can see, these two was with Quavo, you know what I mean, from beginning to end. They dropped him off. They never left his side, because here's the thing. Takeoff is not the only one got hit that night. You know what I mean? A friend of ours daughter got hit in the head. So somebody could have been mad about that and wanted to come back and do some things. So they was there with the homie. And whenever he decide to speak, he gonna validate everything we saying. Quavo, you know what I mean? Because he know he was never abandoned. He know he was never disrespected. He know every time he have came to Houston, it been nothing but love and respect. That's why he came so many times.
When you hear Houston, you hear mob ties. And some people would say that it's some type of protocol for people to check in when they come to the city. And this coming from a person like me and Gil, we ain't never check in when we came to the city. So is there supposed to be a certain protocol for people to check in?
No, and I begin with me, and then he can speak, and they can speak for the other generation. But I'm a never, you know what I mean? We don't have time for no sucker shit like that. Now a lot of people from the different police departments and all these different people want to insinuate like we extorting people. They have to check in. Man, that ain't no money in that shit. I wouldn't have. I got more money than I could spend, right? So I don't want to say go Gil. That shit ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna turn out right because real niggas ain't gonna have that no way. Check in for what? But on the flip side, there is what you call a brownie point to be able to have us as friends. You know what I mean? I don't want to impose or force myself to embrace nobody. But by the same token, those that I respect and I befriend, there is a difference coming into the city as our friend versus by yourself. You know what I mean? And the difference is we are respected. We are respected, and everybody with us, we're gonna demand that they be respected. But it ain't no trying to extort or trying to force. We don't need that. That's fake love. All right. We don't want that.
Because it seemed like, and why is it that a high percentage of things that take place that might go wrong in this city, why is mob ties and rap-a-lot always blamed?
Man, all of my life, damn near in this game, that been the case. You know what I mean? It's almost like I view our brand like a Nike brand in the streets. Everybody wear it. You know what I mean? Because it's something proud to wear and feel good about. But you know, all of those, everybody's, and I done a post say everybody with us ain't one of us. You know what I mean? Everybody wear that hat.
Notice how he slipped up and said bland.
Wear that attire. You know, you can't give them to me. You know, you can't give all these people that wear Nike and may go shoot up, bang, bang, or whatever in Nike attire. Y'all don't try to give it to Phil Knight, whatever that dude name. You know what I mean? So don't try to give me that shit, but they do. You know what I mean? And I learned to accept the things that I can't change the things that I can, and have the wisdom to know the difference. You know what I mean? Because, you know, with us and with the success that we have attained for so many years brings about a certain jealousy and envy and all that kind of shit with it, man, until, you know, it's like a snowball effect where you really can't stop it. You know what I mean? You know, I give you a story my 114-year-old great-grandmother gave me. She said, people gonna say what they wanna say. You just don't let it be so. So I live that life of just not letting it be so.
This episode of $1 Million Worth of Game is also brought to you by the Busch Light Clash at the...
Okay, so basically, the Prince family wanted to clear their name. And they had to. The Prince family basically had to go on a full-on press run, if you will. I was going to show the actual news thing that they did, too, in front of the funeral. That posed, basically saying that they weren't responsible for it. But it was very eerie, too. It was also very eerie, also kind of implying, saying, yo, y'all should watch it when y'all come to Houston, type shit. It was very eerie. Very eerie. At the same time, during that interview, you still hear Jay Prince very, very upset about what happened, but he took it upon himself to let people know about the police report.
Let me just say this. I don't think, I heard you say other than that, but that's at the top. You know what I mean? He lost his life. Other than that, the worst thing to me is this clown that came here. I wish he wouldn't have never came with Quavo. I wish he wouldn't have never brought this nigga into Houston, because he can't think. You know what I mean? This whole root of everything happening is from his actions. And to be frank, honest about the situation, I wish that bullet would have hit him instead of Takeoff, because he was the one that deserved that. You know what I mean? Takeoff didn't deserve that. You know, so that's the worst thing that I could think of, because if he don't make that move, then the night is everybody's still here and live to see another day, and you know what I mean? It's bubbly and lovey-dovey.
Right.
You know.
And I understand that, you know, the Takeoff situation is the most important thing, you know what I mean? But I'm saying, you know, other than that, from the Prince standpoint, it might be like that it ever even was possible that it could happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, real clearly. And, you know, as I said, man, the root, you know, everybody, even the police department, want to get around the root of what really happened. Now,
notice how he said that. He's in Houston, has the connections with the police, and still said the Houston police even wants to go around what happened that night and the facts. Let me tell you this. If the Houston Police Department really wanted to do an investigation on Takeoff, they could have done it in a week watching Academics Live. DJ Academics did a full week investigation, damn near 7 parts of that Takeoff shooting. Who was there, who was who, the names, the cars that was driven, the license plates, the people, the women that were shot, everybody. He broke down every damn nook and cranny and corner of that video, along with 30,000 other people watching. Among the many people that shared the video, among the many people that broke down Migo Bands as the shooter, allegedly. So, what can we conclude from that part, right? That this was possibly a sloppy hit, right? Allegedly. But the hit was not on Jazz Prince's part. Or should I say the Prince's part? Which, of course, was a great scapegoat chess move, right? You put them in the gambling situation. Someone supposedly got shot at a gambling game by accident, in which this same gambling incident was host of another murder that happened in a similar situation, right? Perfect story, right? Perfect story to put together, right? But Takeoff Spirit did not rest there. No. Takeoff Spirit, in fact, has been coming to people.
Back to Evolving Butterfly Goddess with me, Monaco. Here we are all about evolving out loud in our life, our money, and our purpose through the energy of our ancestors. Oh, I just got a little tingle on my little throaty throat. But no. Good morning, you all. Welcome back. So I felt really drawn to do a takeoff reading. It's a couple ancestor messages I want to get out. And I know I've been doing these more so like in the member area with celebrity readings, but this feels like a collective message that needs to come out because it feels like it connects with, you all know how I've been channeling a lot with like children and trafficking, and a lot of it was triggered when everything started off with Diddy. If y'all know like the triggers of like different aspects and like the emotions and all of that, it felt like siphoning energy again. And it made me think of, y'all remember the takeoff reading we did a while ago. I think I privated a lot of my takeoff readings. I may unprivate them. But, and we're saying that Offset was going to step out at New Year's with he was going to step out around New Year's with someone and pay attention to it, right? Offset popped out New Year's with Diddy. Not Offset, Quavo. Quavo popped out with Diddy, okay? And it was something about with Quavo popping out around that time and to pay attention to it. And it's like, oh my gosh. And we were talking about trafficking rings. And I don't know if y'all saw my community tab a few days ago when I had on there. Y'all know I have my posts to expire if they're 24 hours. But it was talking about someone trying to groom someone to become like a high-end sex worker type thing. It's giving. All of this is connecting.
Notice she said that, right? That someone was being groomed. And that Quavo popped out with Diddy. We're only at the 2-minute mark of that, right? Well, why don't we put some, I don't know, some validity to what she might be talking about. So, as she just said, Quavo popped out with Diddy on New Year's, right? But, real quick, I want you guys to think about the fact that she said the grooming part.
Miami way, the only way. International Breeze, you did.
This was Quavo's 26th birthday party. Let's find out who hosted it.
That way. Party going crazy. You did. You did. Party going crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Hey. Time off. J-Lo, J-Rich, what the fuck that dude?
as you guys saw and heard, Diddy was pretty much cameraman for that entire evening. But let's show some validity to what she was just talking about with Quavo popping out with Diddy on New Year's. And this was the first time people had seen Takeoff, the first time people had seen Quavo since Takeoff.
Let me say this one thing to both of y'all. I love y'all and I'm fucking shit. I swear to God. Look, I swear to God, I'm gonna be both y'all today.
So, a lot of validity to what she just said. Now, notice where they're also at right now. They're on the inside of the yacht. So, the party didn't just stop on the outside of the yacht. It ended up with a picture on the inside of the yacht, didn't it? In which Quavo was putting up, well, we'll get to this symbology later as well. But, a lot of validity to what she just said, isn't it? That Quavo popped out with Diddy. But, again, what does this mean?
Back to Evolving Butterfly Goddess with me, Monaco. Here we are all about evolving out loud in our life, our money, and our purpose. Got going on with Takeoff's energy. You know how I started feeling like very interesting like energy and vibes and stuff after I was really tapping into Takeoff's energy, and I felt like there was like a collective spell energy on him that was happening, and it was like some people were able to break away from certain aspects of it, and then some people it fed into Quavo's stuff. It's like a trafficking of energy, a trafficking of spiritual energy as well, like how we were talking about with, you know, of people. It's like they're trying to siphon and get Takeoff's energy right now. Someone's trying to take and get his energy again, because after last time when all that was happening, that's when they came out with the hologram performance, and Takeoff told you that they were about to do that. It's something about someone's trying to siphon like all celebrities who know something or who were a part of something as a way to gather their energy to help them with something. And the fact that we're talking about Diddy, so I don't know, maybe it's something that Diddy is getting ready to try to do or put together. Like it's giving the we are the world, we are the children. Like it's giving that type vibe, like somebody trying to like put together or do something to turn a narrative around in some kind of way, okay? And they definitely are about to be like trying to pull on Takeoff's energy. Because not Offset, but Quavo is definitely, why do I keep saying Offset? But Quavo is definitely, his energy is in on it as well. Why is Offset's name steadily coming out? Isn't Offset, is he in New York? Ain't Diddy in New York too? Takeoff, what you got to say? You got the Ace of Coins. It's some type of financial endeavor. So maybe the fact that I keep bringing up Offset, like it may be some type of financial endeavor or something that's had. I'm getting like music. So something to, it's like, I don't know if Diddy is trying to get other artists on his side now because he knows after everything and what just happened, like a lot of people kind of spoke out and said things. So it's kind of like he's kind of trying to rally support in some kind of way with this Ace of Coins. And I know Offset was, you know, still having issues with like his music and stuff and, you know, the solo aspect. So maybe he's like trying to help on the back end with producing his music or helping in some kind of way, I'm here. What's up with Quavo? Because it's like Quavo got unsuccessful with trying to, it didn't work out how he thought it was going to work. Like the collective's energy that was backing Takeoff during the transition, Takeoff's energy is saying like the collective's efforts blocked certain people from being able to siphon Takeoff's energy the way that he wanted it to happen. there's still no peace. Quavo still has a lot of unrest, you know, and it's like Takeoff is not mad, but like he see what the game is, you know. You know, and now it takes us back to the sacrifice video with Big Sean, and at the end of the video, the one who was sacrificed was Takeoff. And because Takeoff wasn't up, okay? So where was Takeoff? It was only Offset and Quavo. So it's giving something about all the people who were sacrificed, like energy being drawn on or like pulled on at this time to bring power or energy back to a person, okay? So someone may try to garner like sympathy energy as a way to get support for something. Because I keep hearing, we are the world, we are the children. Now, what type of wild stuff would it have been if that, a lot of people in that group, the background, they actually were the people trafficking? But they're up here talking about some, we are the ones to make a better place. Okay, what you doing in the background, okay? Is oh my gosh, what comes to light, what comes to light. Let me get some timeline energy. Takeoff, what's going on? Get some timeline energy. What are we reading on at this time? Takeoff. I just saw the springtime coming out. And then 3 years. So from the springtime to a span of 3 years is going to be a timeline of like transitioning. I'm hearing a transitioning of energy. It's giving a vibe of like souls that were like sacrificed for certain aspects. They're kind of like standing up because the ones who sacrificed their energy, yeah, because it's still giving spring.
So, to bring a little bit light and bring full circle in conclusion to what she's saying, because we're going to get off this for now. To bring a little bit more conclusion in what she's saying, there are people trying to basically draw off Takeoff's energy as he's passed away in his transition right now. So, real quick, the meaning of 1111. Spiritualists call this event the 1111 phenomenon, seeing the number evokes a feeling of significance because it's a mirror of twin numbers, and numerology attaches great importance to the number 11 in particular. It represents a new beginning, the start of a new phase of life, or the imminence of a positive event. So what she's trying to say is someone is trying to gain positivity from their grief, basically, and draw from Takeoff's energy. Well, I wonder who that could be.
Dark nights I can't sleep, so I cry or I close my eyes. I never ask God why, I just go where the road designs. Take a look in the sky, my eyes open wide. All eyes on me, but I'm no Tupac.
1111. That released off the Rocket Power album. Now, as she just said, there was someone trying to harness and use Takeoff's energy. Why on earth, of course, one was trying to say, oh, he's just paying a tribute to Takeoff. But notice what she said. Trying to draw off Takeoff's energy, right? So he titles an album Rocket Power. In symbolism of Takeoff. What's his first single? 1111.
To the street, but you might got amnesia. Got cheese on the beat, so you notice the heater. Put cheese on me, lad, just like I'm a pizza. Hold on, I just caught a fever. You forgot how I put it together. The rocket and Cho, we gon' laugh forever. 5:30 hunch on set, get up early and go out and go get that bag together. Who the fuck gonna put us together? Can't nobody put this shit bad together. So stay the fuck out of the middle, little fella. We always gonna be there, we found forever.
You heard him. They basically are gonna be family forever. So the Migos necessarily never really broke up, as I said before. They never broke up contractually. They couldn't break up contractually. But Quavo years ago said that they were never actually family. Quavo said himself that he's the uncle of Takeoff. And that Offset was someone he met around 6th or 7th grade. They're not actually blood related, him and Offset, nor Takeoff and Offset. So, it was actually easier than people knew for that split to happen the way it did. It was very easy to put Unc and Few together when it was already Unc and Few. And it was already just Offset. But that would not end our beloved Quavo's take on of Takeoff's new energy, as he now started to say things in his lyrics.
I love you too.
He want the scoop, she want the tea, she want the tea. I cannot speak, we keeping it street, we keeping it street. I took a loss, but you still gon' get beat, you still gon' get beat. How much it costs? It never been cheap, it never been. Turn your click.
So, in the very beginning of the record, he references that he won't speak on something that just happened. Everyone wants to know if he had something to do with Takeoff's death. Everyone wants to know what's his mind state. Or what's going on, what's his new moves, what's his plans. And he won't speak on them. Quavo hasn't really done an interview since the passing of Takeoff. The only thing Quavo has done is release music and videos. And done little things like stand up for violence, gun violence, right? So, again, Quavo, it seems, is starting to receive some type of, I don't know, karma for something he may have done. Because nothing he seems to do can be done right. Let's take, for example, this next record.
Welcome to Club Rocket Power.
Would you rather?
Notice he even says in the beginning of the video, welcome to Club Rocket Power. He has been trying to utilize the death of Takeoff as basically a rocket to skyrocket his own career. Quavo said himself in an interview once that people didn't want to ride with him a lot because all he did was play his own music. Quavo has always wanted to be the #1 star. He's always wanted to be by himself.
Every night is baked potato loaded. This shit wall to wall, man. And every bitch in here, oh yeah, she can be bought. Cash.
Wall to wall, this little bitch, she can be bought. Wall to wall, this little bitch, she can be bought.
Wall to wall.
Wall to wall, this little bitch, she can be bought.
Wall to wall.
Wall to wall, this little bitch, she can be bought.
Good. Know what I'm saying? Fucking.
Now, I want to say maybe 4 or 5 years ago, when the Migos were together, the first 30 seconds of that record, and that hook right there, they would have been out of that would have been out of here. It would have been a Takeoff verse in the beginning, a Quavo verse in the middle, and an Offset verse at the end. Or even or all the way around, Offset in the middle, Quavo at the end. That would have been a Migos smash. But because it's just Quavo, not as much electrifying, is it? Is it? Huh? Not much electrocution, which you thought it would be. Not as exciting. So, what's happening with Quavo? Is he losing his touch in a sense? Or is it just the fact that he can't draw off of Takeoff's energy the way he would like to? Because Rocket Power only sold 35,000 units. And that was it.
Back to Evolving Butterfly Goddess with me, Monaco.
Yes, back to you.
Quavo still has a lot of unrest, you know, and it's like Takeoff is not mad, but like he see what the game is, you know. You know, and now it takes us back to the sacrifice video with Big Sean, and at the end of the video, the one who was sacrificed was Takeoff. And because Takeoff wasn't there, okay? So where was Takeoff? It was only Offset and Quavo. So it's giving something about all the people who were sacrificed, like energy being drawn on or like pulled on at this time to bring power or energy back to a person, okay? So someone may try to garner like sympathy energy as a way to get support for something. Because I keep hearing, we are the world. But whole time somebody else was above them type vibe. And it's giving puppet energy. Someone's trying to siphon Takeoff's energy right now, and that's why he's really starting to come back through again right now. They trying to siphon big dog energy, okay? What's going on, Takeoff? Because why are you coming back and around now? Why are you coming back around? Something with music and rights and things of that nature. So like similar to the things of what he went through with his company, and you know, we were talking about the trafficking ring and all that. A lot of that is connected, because you know, when I was saying the states and stuff, when I was channeling the states, a lot of them are connected. It's like they're trying to get in touch with the people who knew what happened or what was going on, to like control the energy, control the narrative in some kind of way, as a way to win the public over. Pay attention to the news and things that are put out there, or what type of sympathy is starting to be garnered. I don't know. Pay attention to like the next, I'm hearing 6 months. What's 6 months from now? It's what, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. So springtime still. Somebody trying to pull on Takeoff energy. Yeah. They going to somebody trying to pay to get Takeoff energy. And you know what's crazy? I can't even say it because I know they probably watching me. Wow. And then the 3 of Sticks. Wow. Someone is trying to tap into Takeoff's energy, and they realize they have to go through somebody else to get it. And that's why his energy is coming up heavy. So I don't know if a lot of you all who are watching in the collective have been trying to tap into his energy 10-10 on the time. And that's why he was feeling called to come out and speak and talk. But this is all.
And I'm glad you did, my brother. Because what she's actually talking about right now is the record deal. Takeoff's the Migos record deal. Okay? So, we're going to tie a couple things up real quick to conclude, right? And then we're going to let Miss Pierre Mom speak. So, you guys remember QC was signed to Motown? Right? QC signed to Motown. You know Motown is owned by? Motown is owned by Berry Gordy. Okay? Now, show you who Berry Gordy chills with all the time. Okay? As you can see here. Longtime friends. Him and Diddy. Berry Gordy, right? Long time friends. Him, Clive Davis, and Berry Gordy, and Smokey Robinson, and, you know, Mr. Hello. Everybody, right? In the record business, right? Everybody. But reason why I wanted to show you Berry Gordy, because Berry Gordy owns Motown. Berry Gordy owns Motown Records, the parent company of Quality Control. Okay? So, they decided to sell QC. Well, before we get into that, real quick, just wanted you to know something about the Gordys, right? Well, I mentioned the Gordys. So, did y'all know that Bertha Gordy? Did y'all know that Bertha Gordy founded the life insurance company? Guess some of y'all didn't know that part, right? So, Bertha Gordy co-founded the Friendship Mutual Life Insurance Company. Interesting, right? She founded a life insurance company that's still with Motown Records, right? Interesting, right? That they own a life insurance company. Just saying. So, if you Google Quavo net worth, right? 2021. If we Google his net worth for 2021, we get a list of things, right? I'm going to put some in perspective here. You see his list? 2010, he was worth 400,000. 2015, 7 million. 2015 is when they signed to Motown. 2019, he's worth 20 million. 2021, he's worth 25. After Take's passing, he goes up another 5. Offset doesn't have the same timeline. Gee, I wonder why. But it says here he has a reported net worth of 28 million. Right? Offset's still building up his net worth. If we look at Takeoff's, Takeoff, again, just like Offset, doesn't really have a timeline, doesn't he? But what would that mean? Notice how when we Google his net worth, they don't do anything but revert back to his death date. Meaning, Takeoff did not actually have a net worth until he passed away. Are we following here? The reported net worths of Offset and Takeoff were not until they had tragic events. Whereas Quavo's, you can find a full list. Interesting. And of course, the icing on the cake is when QC sells to Hybe, the South Korean company that represents BTS, Tomorrow X Together, and Lee Hyon. Quality Control, they sold the label to for $300 million after Takeoff passed away. They sold it to Scooter Braun's Hive America. Now, remember what she said about the trafficking? Right? And this is why I said this shit went from rabbit hole to fucking rabbit hole. Scooter Braun recently, who QC sold the label to, is now, as of scandalousmedia.com, joining the list of people who have supposedly fired Scooter Braun. Is me, okay. Angela of Scandalous Media, at least that's what people would think. You know what? Let's give a more credible one. Matter of fact. Let's go to Lipstick Alley real quick. Because this says right here that Scooter Braun was allegedly involved in child trafficking. There's nothing but articles on people starting to leave Scooter Braun because he's said to be in a human trafficking ring. This is on Tumblr. This is on Pioneer Press. It's on Pitchfork. In fact, let's read Pitchforks real quick. It says, Taylor Swift's ex-label boss disputes her claims about Scooter Braun's master deal. Oh, so this was another article here about someone leaving him. So this is nothing but articles on people leaving him because of that human trafficking scandal that he's said to be in. You can Google it yourselves. Matter of fact, I'll show y'all real quick. Look at this. Nothing but him being alleged in human trafficking. Interesting how that coincides with what Miss Butterfly just said, isn't it? So it's like I said before. It will go into one rabbit hole into the next if we let it. But one thing's for sure, two things for certain. This was definitely some type of hit. And this was definitely a successful money claim hit at that. Unfortunately. But there are other things that tie into this as far as Takeoff might have known something. That's what this is starting to sound like. Takeoff knew something, and Takeoff had to be removed because he knew that something. On top of, Takeoff had no real worth until he passed away. So again, we say those words, the win-win situation. Remember that? This was a win-win situation, you would think, in the mind of Quavo, right? Or QC even. But there's one person who does not think this is a win-win situation, and I think her voice needs to be heard because it's a very powerful one with the voice of God.
I've been jailed. I've been made to look crazy. I've been made to look that I'm a junkie. I'm this and I'm that. Let me tell you something. You can raise a child on their knees. You can take them in the Church of God in Christ, because I did all that. My house was a house of prayer, but a snake is a snake is a snake is a snake. These witches, these warlocks, they be in your own bloodline. When I found out Takeoff was dead, I know that Halloween night, I'm going to say this and I'm going to get off the phone. When I laid down, I said, Lord, because I don't celebrate Halloween. We are not to elevate Satan on no levels. We are not to give him any type of props or homage. And P, they call him P. I'll never call him P. He's Pierre to me. Pierre. He ain't QC to me. He ain't P. He's that boy to me. You have to know that I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of worrying about my safety. I know that Takeoff was a good kid. He was a good son. You know, that ain't my testimony. Why? Why so much fucking pain? You know, and why? Why you have to make me the sacrifice? You understand? They say they sacrifice the one they love. A motherfucker who love you ain't gonna sacrifice you. That's bullshit. They love their damn self. You know, I heard that Pierre is so broken about Takeoff. I know why. Because number one, Takeoff was a wonderful individual. Number two, there's a betrayal, okay? And I just ain't gonna talk about it, but this ain't no chess game, no checker game, this a chess game. Anybody coming for me, because they been coming for me, they not gonna stop coming for me. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm a child of the Most High God, and the blood of Jesus is on me. The devil can keep shooting his best shot with me. Because, see, I am Zion. I'm in God's army. We know that we all gonna leave this life. When I tell you I'm sacrificed, I don't even know Pierre children. Pierre will not face me. Tavares Thomas will not face me. That shit that happened to me at my grandmother's funeral cannot go undone. I would not lay down. They did a ritual with me in my grandmama's funeral. That would not go undone. More so not about me, but about you desecrated my grandmother's homegoing, her life. You understand? And she did not deserve that.
Hey, how y'all doing? The lady you just heard was Lisa. That is the mother of one of the most powerful men in hip-hop industry, Pierre. You know, we was doing the live like we always do. And she came on the live and she had to vent. She was moved by the spirit. And she talked about the rituals in Hollywood, the sacrifices. And she's not scared because she have God on her side. So I want you guys to take the time out to listen to what she has to say. This is not an interview. This is just her venting and telling you her truth. If y'all can, make sure y'all like and share. I am your girl, Miss Gigi, reporting from the YouTube channel Gossip Girl XOXO.
I can't stand none of this shit. Real talk, I'm a sacrifice. So you better know this. They come for what is pure. They come for the one that's got the love, okay? Because I got a lot of love. But when I tell you, your enemies always be close. I have had my family members to jump me. I've been isolated ever since this label started and the Migos got their first Grammy. My son said to me, Mama, I'm congratulating him. But he said to me, and this is my firstborn, Mama, your life over with. It's been 6 years. The whole prima donna came and got with my youngest son, who is the weakest link. And I tell you what, I'm not going to make this about me today, but I've been jumped, I've been jailed, I've been made to look crazy, I've been made to look that I'm a junkie, I'm this and I'm that. Let me tell you something. You can raise a child on their knees, you can take them in the Church of God in Christ, because I did all that. My house was a house of prayer, but a snake is a snake is a snake is a snake. These witches, these warlocks, they be in your own damn bloodline. Now, I just want to give my condolences to this family. I feel that Takeoff had the spirit of the dove. I feel that he had the heart of the lion. I feel that this young man was chosen. Now, they go into this stuff. I told my son, because I heard the young lady talking about what you should teach a child. Well, I told my son this, and I talked to all my children. I was a raw, uncut parent, and I told them about life and about the way it really is. And I remember telling my sons, let me tell y'all the truth about life and about the way it really is. The devil gonna offer you the world, just like he did Jesus. He don't just come to rich folk, he come to the chosen one. And I said, now, it's gonna be your choice. Because see, God, he don't force himself on nobody. Don't think that the devil ain't offered me his kingdom way long ago. I could have been with the rich man. I had 3 kids. Fuck that rich man money. I got enough to do what I needed to do, and I knew when to pull back. I am very, very uncomfortable with this situation. I wanted to go pay my respect to Takeoff, but I couldn't because they already got my picture down now. They're going to humiliate me, have me locked up, say I'm crazy. So God told me to stay back. You talked about the gift of discernment. I am a counselor, and so I know the way Takeoff. I know that he was intuitive, and I'm sure that he felt something. Listen, you follow the closest one that's closest to you, and it can cost you your life. My health is all messed up. My sister jumped me from behind in a Christmas dinner. They flew me from L.A. After that, my son tripped me in the dark, let a trunk down on my back. So don't tell me what family won't do. I'm in court right now with my aunt who been dragging me in and out of court on false accusations. I finally get a damn TPO on her. She want to move the judge out the way so she can get what she want. What the hell wrong with you can't just leave me alone? Because, see, jealousy is as cruel as the grave, baby. I'm real fucking mad about this shit with Takeoff. And fuck Jay Prince. And fuck Jazz Prince. And fuck Jay Prince Jr. And I'm so sorry. I just wanted to be able to let this mother know my heart is with you. They won't let me get close to nobody. And not that I want to be seen, because that ain't my world. I don't condone none of this shit. Anybody coming for me, because they been coming for me, they not going to stop coming for me. But I'm going to tell you, I'm a child of the Most High God, and the blood of Jesus is on me. The devil can keep shooting his best shot with me. Because, see, I am Zion. I'm in God's army. We know that we all going to leave this life. Nobody's going to stay here. I don't give a fuck if you the billionaire with the most billions on the earth. Your ass going to sleep, you going to leave here. Because we didn't come in this land and stay here. When it come to the young people, please don't follow nobody. Stop following y'all. Because y'all didn't hear Tupac. He said in real life, your friends is your enemies. Huh? They should have learned from Tupac and Biggie. I'm not understanding why these boys was in Houston with this stuff that just happened with Duke the Jeweler. I don't get it. I don't get it that if you at that status, security is down special forces, Navy SEALs and shit. You got money. I saw the messy video. I saw a lot of messages. I'm not going to try to say too much, but Gigi, you're a bad girl. I've been listening to you for a long time.
Thank you. And I want to say.
And as you can hear, she started to break down that messy video because she knew what she wanted to say. But as y'all heard, man, that was QC moms, man. That was QC mom saying all that. So if that's her thoughts of her child, hey. But that is all we have here today, or this evening, y'all. As y'all saw, I do not say anyone did anything or say anyone did anything. All I do is put the information in front of you. You do with it you will. Put 2 and 2 together if you want and come up with 5. That's on you. But we will see y'all for episode 36 or 7 tomorrow. Tune in. Peace.
My type of women like to cuddle, but don't sleep on the money. My type of women like to talk, but don't talk to no dummy. A good play, peace and pay, that's a damn good day. A good play, peace and pay, that's a damn good day. A type of dudes don't be calling trying to blow up a phone. A type of dudes getting money, but don't leave her alone. She just need food, peace and pay, that's a damn good day. She just need food, peace and pay, that's a damn good day. Don't be mad at it, that's just what I prefer. Don't be mad at it, that's just what I prefer. Don't be mad at it, that's just what we prefer. Don't be mad at it, that's just what we prefer. I need a woman that can cook and clean. She need a good man that fucking mean. I kick it paying all bills, yeah, I foot the fee. Yeah, I know she bad and bougie, but she good to me. We talking king shit, I love to show her royalty. I need a queen, quick to always show her loyalty. And when even a nigga off, she be on with me. She DEF the fuck boy, she supported G. That's how it always be. Yeah, it's a baddie, it's a baddie. Make it clap, patty cake with that fatty. Yeah, she love it. Making money. Keep it coming, keep it cunning. Hate when complaining, haters do nothing. Type of women like to cuddle, but don't sleep on the money. My type of women like to talk, but don't talk to no dummy. A good play, peace and pay, that's a damn good day. A good play, peace and pay, that's a damn good day. A type of dudes don't be calling trying to blow up a phone. A type of dudes getting money, but don't leave her alone. She just need food, peace and pay, that's a damn good day. She just need food, peace and pay, that's a damn good day. She said, don't be mad at it, that's just what I prefer. Don't be mad at it, that's just what I prefer. Don't be mad at it, that's just what we prefer. Don't be mad at it, that's just what we prefer. Don't be mad at it, that's just what I prefer. Don't be mad at it, that's just what I prefer. Don't be mad at it,
That's just what we prefer. Don't be mad at it. That's just what we prefer.